They missed out on Europe, which was always a slim chance anyway, and they've been beaten 2-0 by Fulham on the final day. They will finish in 12th position.
It's difficult to sit here now and say, I think the team will look like this. The aim would be to come back with a stronger squad, but that's the plan in every transfer window. We certainly want a smoother one than we had last summer. I think we're all set up to have that and execute that. We'd love to get players through the door early.
Newcastle United are set to lose their top scorer for the second summer running. A deal has been reached to sell Anthony Gordon to Barcelona for more than £69 million.
Liverpool set to sign Victor Munoz from Osasuna, and essentially they've gazumped Newcastle, who had been in talks. Liverpool, not for the first time, have taken a player that Newcastle were interested in.
Sandro Tonali's move to Tottenham Hotspur has been completed. The undisclosed transfer fee widely reported to be up to £100 million.
Yet another big star could be on his way. Bruno Guimaraes has told the club that he wants to leave, with Arsenal keen to sign him. Another top target getting away from them, Johan Manzambi.
Yeah, looks very much like he is going to be an Aston Villa player and not a Newcastle United one.
The legendary former Newcastle United player and manager Kevin Keegan has died at the age of 75.
It's a major shock. We hear the word legend thrown around an awful lot. You've got to put Kevin Keegan on a very high pedestal.
Outside St James's Park, flags are at half-mast with rows of flowers and black and white scarves and a huge sign reading The Messiah.
He was my hero, the entertainers. It's the best football I've ever seen. He was Newcastle United.
The lift he gave to the club, the area as a player was unbelievable. And then the second stint when he came as a manager was another level.
It's just really sad, and I'm just hoping that Newcastle United recognise, and I think they will, how great he was.
How will the club remember this man who helped transform the club?
We've got a statue of Alan Shearer here. We've got a statue of Sir Bobby Robson here. And Kevin's impact in this club, extraordinary. I think it demands a physical tribute. We're going to make that determination ultimately and at the right time, in conjunction and consultation with the family. Today, we're just mourning like everybody else.
For me, it's been another challenging summer so far.
Bristol City through Bird, might be in for a third goal, which they take. Bell's cross, own goal. Sven Botman stuck out a leg.
I think there's been a lot of change at the football club and potentially more to come. I think there's always reason to be optimistic. Every day that I'm Newcastle manager is a great day for me. I absolutely love the football club and that will never change.
The Newcastle manager Eddie Howe is set to leave the club with immediate effect.
I think it was the right time to go. We're a selling club and it just seems like a protest to that, I think.
We're absolutely gutted, but absolutely doesn't surprise me. What he's done for the club's incredible.
Last season was really tough for Eddie Howe. You've seen the interview after Bristol City. He looked a tired man. His body language wasn't great. He looked like a beaten man.
Newcastle United have officially appointed Matthias Jaisler as the club's new head coach. Jaisler, who's only 38, joins from Saudi Arabian side Al Ahly.
Joining this marvellous club with that fan base, it's something special and a real privilege, but also a big responsibility, and I'm aware of it and I will do my best.
Newcastle United have confirmed that their captain Bruno Guimaraes has joined Arsenal. Undisclosed fee, believed to be around £75 million.
I just felt I need a new challenge in my life. I want to win more trophies for my career. Every person in my family is excited to be here, to live in London.
You can lose one player, but when you lose three players of the quality that we've lost, it's very difficult to replace that type of quality.
There is negativity. Probably you read the newspapers as well, and the media, social media in particular.
We're in a bad way. I think we need to make some signings pretty desperately for the first team, plug in and play. I think we need about 4, maybe more.
I'm all for the rebuild. The problem is they haven't addressed all of the areas yet, and we've got a game on Sunday.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope the manager succeeds. But what I say, I'm not too sure whether they're ready.
Bamba hands on hips, has to score, and he's hit the post. Bamba doesn't score, and Newcastle will not get their hands on either trophy this weekend. Strasbourg win the shootout.
For us, it's the job that we focus what we can influence. We want to deliver our game. We want to play in our way of football, like the Newcastle United fans are expecting, and then we will have a fantastic Sunday evening. At home, everything is possible.
Once again, it has been an eventful summer at Newcastle United. Lots of change off the pitch, either side of the news of Kevin Keegan's passing. And today, both Newcastle United and Liverpool, two clubs that he represented with such distinction, will join together to remember the great man. And then rivalries on the pitch will be renewed, and it is already an emotional day here at St James's Park, with the stadium prepared to honour Kevin Keegan, with lots going on ahead of kick-off, including a war flags display which has been laid out already onto empty seats with banners and a giant flag at the bottom of the east stand ready to be pulled up to the top. I'm sure it will look spectacular, and it will be a fitting and worthy tribute of King Kev. And then from 4:30, Newcastle United kick off their Premier League season against Liverpool, and it is a strong rivalry, and I'm sure when the game does get underway, there will be a lot of attention on a certain Swedish striker who starts for the visitors today. But John Anderson, we were here last weekend for the friendlies. It was nice to be back after all that's happened this summer. My view is that it's a good thing that the Premier League, the competitive action, is finally here now, and I think you feel the same.
Yeah, look, it hasn't been the greatest pre-season, not just with results but performances. This is where it really starts. You know, today Liverpool, tough start for us, no doubt about that, but you just look at some of the results over the weekend, you know, some of the results yesterday, the way results are going today, you know, so I think this is it's a difficult one to try and call. I think, you know, people ask, what do you think, and you go, I don't really know, and that is the honest truth of it. Will we win? Wouldn't surprise me. Would we get beat? Wouldn't surprise me. You know, so I just think it's a tough one to call. Liverpool haven't had the best of pre-seasons either. You know, it hasn't been great for them. So we'll see how it goes. You know, it's as I say, difficult start, but you've got to play these teams at some stage during the season. So get them out of the way. Get them out of the way early, and see what happens. But it's an interesting game, most definitely an interesting game.
Newcastle's goalkeepers have just come out to warm up, and both teams, both squads will be wearing shirts with Keegan 7 on the back during their warm-ups this afternoon. Let's have a look at the Newcastle United team, and there are 3 debutants in there, making their first Premier League appearances, and one playing for the club for the first time. Lukas Hornicek is the starting goalkeeper, which is what we expect. He is the new number 1. Amar Dedic, whose arrival from Benfica was confirmed on Tuesday, plays at right back. Malik Chow will captain the team. He's at centre back alongside Sven Botman, because Dan Burn is out with an injury. More on him soon. Lewis Hall at left back. Sean Sturr alongside Lewis Miley, a youthful central midfield. And Miley, remember, only had 45 minutes of pre-season football after recovering from injury. Anthony Elanga, Harvey Barnes in the wide positions, and we would expect it to be Johan Wissa playing just off William Osula up front. Newcastle's bench: Ewen Zhaoen, the goalkeeper, Fabian Schär, Alaji Bamba, Bazumana Toure, Jacob Murphy, Nick Voltemada, Joe Willock, Jacob Ramsey, Leo Shahar. Most of the team, Ando, I think you could have, certainly 7, maybe 8, you would have been certain they were going to play. That was nailed on. Those slots were nailed down. But the 2 in midfield and maybe the wide positions were where there were question marks. So what do you make of the 11?
Yeah, as you say, it's a youthful middle 2, isn't it? Not a great deal of experience in there. Miley hasn't played a great deal of football in pre-season. He looks neat and tidy, looks comfortable on the ball, as you would expect coming from Ajax Academy, being brought up the way that he was. So yeah, I thought Ramsey might have got one of those slots in there, but he's gone with with a youthful middle two. Wissa was always going to play behind Asula. It was a question of who would play in those wide areas, whether Murphy would get a slot on that right side, but he's gone with the pace of Alanga. Toure possibly could have got in on the left, but he's gone with Barnes on that left hand side. So look, it's as you say, there was probably 7 that you would say were nailed on to play, but you were right, like those middle two, we didn't know what was going to happen, and it was a toss up to see who was going to play in those wide areas as well.
No Tino Livramento, no Joe Linton, both injured. Dan Byrne now with an injury, and I think it's an ankle injury, problem. Yeah, and it'll be a few weeks, that's what we're hearing, but we'll try and get something confirmed by the club on that. I don't think they've published anything about it, but we'll have a look, and we'll let you know as soon as we do. A blow. New club captain, I think he probably would have started if he'd been fully fit.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
In terms of not having an injury, despite being back late for pre-season after the World Cup.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he most definitely would have started alongside Chow. It's another blow. There's no doubt about that. It's one we could have done without. We don't know how long it's going to keep him out, but the manager most definitely could have done without that with the problems that he's got in other areas. As you said, no Livramento. He's finding his way back to fitness. No Joe Linton as well, which is a blow for the manager as well. So look, Botman hasn't had the best of pre-seasons. He looks, in the games that we've seen, he looks like a boy whose confidence is a little bit low at this moment in time, but we know that he's got the quality. We know he's a good player. He's got to try and play his way back to the player that we know he is.
And he'll be alongside Malik Chow up against Alexander Isak. There were videos online last night, did you see them? Which appeared to be at the Liverpool team hotel, and Isak getting off the bus and getting exactly the sort of reception that you thought he would, and he got more of that when Liverpool arrived at St James's Park within the last hour or so. Some boos for their goalkeepers, who are now out on the pitch and heading up to the left towards the Leazes end of St James's Park. Alisson starts in goal for Liverpool. The rest of their team: Jeremy Frimpong at right back, Jeremy Jacquet, who is a summer signing, although the deal to bring him in from the French club Rennes was done at the end of the winter transfer window, but this is his Premier League debut, the young centre-back alongside the experienced Liverpool captain, 35 years of age, Virgil van Dijk, and Milos Kerkez at left-back. In midfield, Dominic Soboslai and Ryan Gravenberch. Rio Gamoa, we need no reminder of his 100th minute winning goal here in heartbreaking fashion for Newcastle, but brilliant strike for Liverpool last season. 17-year-old Gamoa starts on the wing. Cody Gakpo on the other side, the left. Florian Wirtz in an advanced role behind Alexander Isak, who scored once in pre-season for Liverpool. And well, you can guess what the matchday announcer has just said into his microphone. I think, Ando, there's anxiety about the Isak situation, because even if today wasn't, in many respects, certainly pre-match dedicated to the memory of Kevin Keegan, Isak coming back to Newcastle for the first time, didn't play against them last season, as we know, was always going to be a huge thing. He was injured, he struggled. We don't need to go over the events of last summer and how that contributed to his season, but it's not going to feel good if he scores or if he participates in a significant way, but he is going to get hell from
he is. Look, there's no doubt about it. Every time he goes near the ball, the roof will come off St James's, and he'll come in from minute 1 to the final whistle. There's no doubt that he will get an awful lot of stick. Will it bother him? Don't know. Some players it does bother. Other players it's like water off a duck's back. They sort of relish it. Sort of lifts them. You hope that it's not the latter. You hope that the abuse that he takes doesn't lift him and he doesn't relish it and doesn't thrive on it. So but there's no doubt that he's guaranteed to get so much abuse. It's I think we knew all along the abuse that he would get, and it's look, he could have handled the situation better, couldn't he? You know, it didn't.
That's one way of putting it.
It wasn't a great. It wasn't a great outcome from both. From the club and from his perspective, you know,
it was a deal that didn't really work for anybody last season.
No, and you know, I think hence the reason that the Guimaraes deal was always going to be. They were never going to let it get to the same situation of where it was a similar outcome to what happened to what happened with Isak last summer. So, but there's no doubt that he will take unbelievable stick. He'll get a load of stick, no doubt about it.
BBC Radio Newcastle, and we're also on the BBC Sounds app today. If you have a smart speaker at home, then ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle and you can listen to us there. An equaliser for Manchester City, 1-1 in their match with Bournemouth. As we've been mentioning today, is about remembering the great Kevin Keegan, the warm-ups with the players wearing Keegan 7 on the back. There is much more planned across the day here at St James's Park, and there are a number of former Newcastle players from Kevin Keegan's great entertainer side of the 90s who are here, and we are delighted to be joined right now by one of them on BBC Radio Newcastle. Signed in 1995 from Wimbledon and made the most expensive defender in English football at the time, Warren Barton. Thank you for coming to speak to us, Warren.
An absolute pleasure. I wish it was in different circumstances, but it's an honour to be here, and we've had a difficult few weeks, to say the least. I think with Eddie going, was obviously hugely disappointed, the players going, but that's part and parcel. But we've lost a hero, and I owe him everything. You know, I had the opportunity to come and play for this club for nearly 8 years, over 220 appearances, and if it wasn't for him I wouldn't be standing here. So it's a big loss. There's a lot of the players that are here from that era, or that 95-96 season. We're reminiscing, and all of it is about Kevin, actually. So yeah, it's going to be emotional for everybody, but John will tell you with Kevin, he wanted you to enjoy it. He wanted you to have fun. He wanted you to express yourself, and more importantly, he wanted you to play for the fans. And I think that's what everybody's got to remember about Kevin. He was a gentleman. He was a great person, and we're going to miss him. And as I said, I never got a chance to say thank you, but that's one of them things. And you know, we wish him well, obviously, and the family, and you know, our hearts go out to them and prayers as well.
And members of Kevin Keegan's family are here today as well, and it's sad that he didn't get to come back himself to St James's Park to take in a game.
Don't you think that's part of the romance of KK? You know, that's part of, if only, you know, like when we lost the league and it was nearly there. It's just Kevin was such a person that you could emotionally get involved with. You wanted to do anything for him. You wanted to do the best you can, and you know, unfortunately we failed at the time to not, you know, win the title for him and Sir John and the club. And like he's always said, it's not necessarily just the winning, it was how we did it, and that's how he wanted to do it. And it would have been lovely, yes, I understand what you're saying, but it's just that part of what Kevin is. He's special. There's only one Special K, and there's only one Kevin Keegan.
Yeah, and fitting, coincidental of course, but it's Liverpool, a club he also represented so successfully in the 70s before his association as player and later manager with Newcastle United started. And it'll be important for Liverpool to remember him today as well. Two clubs where he is adored.
It is amazing how football gods work. This has happened and it's tragic, but the first game at St James's is against the team where the number 7 shirt he made iconic, and we had Kenny Dalglish and Ian Rush that had laid some flowers down as well to come along. And Liverpool fans have always been class. They've been through troubled times themselves. They've had people that they've lost in the past, and it's very fitting that they're here. They wanted to be part of it, but as I said, it is quite ironic that you're playing against Liverpool, where he was such a good player. John Natel probably said it as well. You sort of forget how good Kevin was as a player. You know, he won Ballon d'Or twice, come here for 2 seasons, transformed the football club, and then as a manager coming back in the early 90s, he woke up a giant and woke up a city. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be where we are now. This football club wouldn't be where we are now. But we know we've go with War Jackie and Alan Shearer and Sir Bobby, and rightly so, and to John Hall. But KK had the vision, he had the passion, he had the determination to make people in the North East be something they're proud of and something that they wanted to come out there. They're the best fans in the world, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, actually. And when he come down to London, tapped me on the shoulder and said, come and join a big club, I would never imagine that I'd had the time that I had here. It's been the best time of my life, mid-20s, playing with the likes of Ginola and Les Ferdinand and Peter Beardsley, and getting to know John and people like that have been legends here, you know, Bobby Moncur and people. It's a special place. Until you live up here and you play for them and they take you on board as one of them, then there's no better place in the world. There's no better place for me.
Yeah. Lovely words, Warren, and like you said at the start, it's sad circumstances that you're all together, or many of you are together, from that team in the 90s, the players that you played with, the crossover that you had. But you're here to watch the game, also remember Kevin Keegan, and he deserves a tribute like this. It's fitting. It's going to be on a large scale, both sets of supporters together, and I'm sure you were probably moved when you saw, in the days after his death was announced, the flowers, the shirts, the tributes outside of St James's Park, which went on for more than a week. And I think there's 15 books of condolences that have been given to the family by the club, because so many people wanted to come to St James's Park to pay their respects.
But he touched so many people, you know, he touched so many in every way, you know, whether it was signing an autograph, whether it was the bus driver, whether it was someone in, he always had time for people, and he was a superstar. You know, he was the first one really where doing commercials and being on, you know, Superstar, the program that he did, and, you know, going and winning 2 Ballon d'Ors and playing for England. He was everybody's idol. Even his signature is so iconic and different, and you know, for everybody to, it doesn't surprise me, because people up here loved him, and they still do, and they remember that time, my sort of era, and a little bit younger, a little bit older. The town was buzzing. He lifted he didn't just lift the football club and woke a giant up, he woke the city up, and everybody got behind it. And as I said, it could only be Kevin to do that, and to bring in Les, bring in David. Tino Esprilla is here, has flown over from Colombia. I think that speaks volumes of how we feel about him and how the fans are going to feel about the emotion of going around, and the players will understand what's at stake. It's been, as I said, a tough couple of weeks talking about the club and signings and people leaving, but John will tell you as well, if people don't want to be at this club, they can go. You know, we've stuck by people when they had their problems, and then all of a sudden they want to move, and, you know, people kiss their badge and say how great things are. They go off, life will go on. Newcastle will keep going and keep getting better and better.
Thank you very much for coming to speak to us, Warren Barton, to remember Kevin Keegan, and we appreciate your time.
It's an honour.
I hope that you, despite the sad circumstances, enjoy being back at St James's Park.
Yeah, I love being back home. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Warren Barton, the former Newcastle United defender, with us on BBC Radio Newcastle in our build-up to the match against Liverpool. We're going to have a chat to a member of the North East written media very shortly. Look ahead perhaps a bit more to the game and what is ahead of us from 4:30 this afternoon. The boos for the Liverpool players warming up, and then a few seconds ago the roar to greet Newcastle United. But as we've been touching on with Warren Barton, St James's Park is going to be about the game from 4:30, but for much of the build-up leading up to that, it is about the Messiah, Special K, King Kev, and the new manager, Matthias Jaissler, knows all about what Keegan did for Newcastle United and for Liverpool, and he says it's only right that he is remembered today by both clubs.
I think that's really, really special. You will feel that on Sunday. Legend, you cannot really describe what he did for our club. That is for sure a reason why the club is right now on that level. What he did, what he was building, and then also, of course, the fact that he was somehow of the same legend in Liverpool. So this combination, it's special by itself. And again, I think everyone in the stadium will show the tribute for him on Sunday, and it will be a nice honour for him.
Already the atmosphere feels big. It is when Liverpool come to St James's Park anyway, but there are there's an added edge to it today, and an emotion certainly, and Yeah, St James's Park preparing to remember Kevin Keegan and to support Newcastle United against Liverpool. You can listen to our commentary on BBC Radio Newcastle today, also on the BBC Sounds app. And a quick reminder of the team: Hornacek, Dedic, Chow, who is captain, Botman, Hall, Stur, Miley, Ilanga, Wissa, Barnes and Osula up front. And yes, Isak starts for Liverpool. Joining us now for a quick chat ahead of the game, we're delighted, one of the national newspaper writers who covers Newcastle United but formerly of the Chronicle, Mark Douglas, the Northern football correspondent for the I paper, is here. Thanks for coming along, Mark.
Oh, no problem. What an occasion this already feels like it's going to be today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great occasion. We were talking earlier, Ando and I, about Isak and probably the anxiety that is there, because if Isak scores, yeah, it's going to be hard to take, isn't it? Today probably would have been mostly about him. Maybe Victor Munoz, who's on the bench, player Liverpool took at the 11th hour from Newcastle this summer. So there's lots of ingredients today, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, we've already heard here Isak's just come out to warm up, and the atmosphere is absolutely electric. But it's the noise that accompanied him coming out, and it's less than a third, less than a quarter full at the moment, but you could hear those boos. I mean, I remember when Michael Owen came on for Manchester United all those years ago, and wow, I mean, I've never heard a noise like it in a stadium. I think it will probably be similar this season, because there is that feeling of hurt, and I've said all summer that Newcastle need to channel this feeling that was in the fan base at the moment of it's us against the world, because yes, they've sold all these players. I think one or two of them would have gone even if they didn't have the financial regulations up against them, but quite a lot of what they've had to do is because of financial regulations. So Newcastle really need to channel that siege mentality, and Alexander Isak might find a bit of that on his shoulders today.
Matthias Geisler did speak about that during the week, didn't he, about maybe the outside and a feeling that everything is stacked up against Newcastle. There's also a feeling, I think, among the fan base that this team that he has now, the squad he's inherited and the work that's been done over the summer, leaves them in a situation where they're perhaps not quite ready for the Premier League. But when the whistle blows, you have to be ready. What's your view on how well equipped they are for this season ahead, still with just over a week of the window remaining? Because you've reported extensively, as you do, on transfers.
Yeah, I think they're quite a way off where they need to be actually in terms of squad depth. I think they need at least two. The Bruno Guimaraes replacement isn't in yet. It's clear that they want something there. Very interesting that Nico Gonzalez isn't even in the squad today for Manchester City, a player they really, really like. I was told at the end of last week, really pushing hard on him. You know, obviously they don't want too much to come out at the moment, because a couple of times when it has come out, they've ended up kind of missing out on those targets. They obviously need defenders. It may be with Dan Burn possibly facing a few weeks out that they expedite a plan to bring in a younger defender as well. And I think I could see another forward coming in. So I do worry that they're not quite ready yet. My feeling about this season is that it could get a little bit worse before it gets better in terms of results, but I do think when they hit their stride, they will be a decent team. And we've seen this weekend already, obviously Villa getting beaten heavily, Spurs getting beaten heavily, Manchester United getting beaten heavily. This could be a really interesting season because there's so many different factors. The World Cup's a big factor, players coming back who are tired from that as well. Newcastle have got a young team here. There shouldn't be too many problems about tiredness or exhaustion, which we've heard a lot about the last two seasons. Newcastle should have none of those problems. They should have plenty of energy, they should have plenty of fight, and there's a lot for these players to prove. So let's look on the bright side. This is a very different team, a lot of energy, new blood. You know, they can achieve, and I don't think there'll be that expectation on them this season as well. So, you know, who knows?
It's an interesting point about the energy, the youthfulness.
Yeah, I go along with that. Yeah, look, it is a youthful side, and you see young players now, they play with no fear. They don't have that fear factor. The only problem you would have is that little bit lack of experience in there. You know, when it's not going right, we've seen teams in the past, when it's not going right, you need somebody with that experience to pull everybody together, to drag people in and say, let's just sit in here for 10 minutes, let's see this dodgy patch out. We haven't really got anybody of that ilk in this side at the moment, and losing Dan Bourne as well, you know, that's massive as well. You've already mentioned about losing the three players in the summer. You can't afford to lose three of your best players and not replace them. You know, yes, I know people that say they replaced them, but they brought young boys in, 20-year-olds, 18-year-olds. not of the same ilk at this moment in time. You know, the three boys that went are experienced international players, and this is a young side. They should go and they should play with no fear and have a go, because I don't think there's any pressure on them, Mark, to be quite honest, because I don't think the expectations is there, you know, and so that takes a bit of pressure off their shoulders, because people are thinking, oh well, it's, you know, and I said to Razor earlier on, I'm not too sure which way this one's going to go. You know, you look at some of the results this weekend. You already mentioned Spurs, Manchester United, you know, Villa conceding 4 inside half an hour today. So I just don't know what to expect today. You know.
One really interesting thing is I'm absolutely fascinated to see how Hornacek plays today, because a new goalkeeper in a new league against a team, Liverpool obviously good from set pieces, or they have been good from set pieces in the past as well. For all the changes they've made, that's an absolutely huge one, because they spent a lot of money on this guy. I think it's fair to say in the first 2 pre-season games there's been a couple of questions about him. I spoke to him out in La Manga, and I've got to say I thought his mentality and the way that he talked, he really convinced me. But obviously he's got to partner it up with performances, and there's not a lot of places to hide as a goalkeeper in the Premier League. Matt Sells, who's obviously gone on to have a really good career at Nottingham Forest, came here and he lasted a few weeks, didn't he, because he had a very bad start, and he never recovered from that. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to do, but I'm very interested. I can't wait to see Stir in midfield. I'm so glad that he's taken the risk on him, because I think he's looked like a class act in the games I've seen of him so far. And you know, if he finds space and he can do little things in there, who knows where this team could go. But I totally agree with Ando. I think there's no pressure on them today. If they get anything out of this game, I think it's more than I would expect them to.
Final one, Mark. You mentioned you were in La Manga a couple of weeks ago for their training camp, and you were introduced to Matthias Jaissler there, and we've had the opportunity to speak to him, hear from him a few more times since then. What are your early impressions of the new manager?
Yeah, he's very different from what we've been used to with Eddie Howe, it's fair to say. You know, I've been told that he's a real people person, an excellent communicator behind the scenes. I think media-wise, he's fairly inscrutable, I think it's fair to say. I quite like that, though. I think he's going to warm to it. He's going to like the jostling. It's obviously a little bit different for him, because he's done, I think, 6 press conferences in the first 2 weeks, and obviously in Saudi I think he was doing 1 a week, so it has been a little bit different. I'm really impressed by him. I think he's, you know, what I like about him is a lot of people would have said 2 weeks to go before the window, all these players have left, it's not for me, this job, don't you know, I'm going to put my reputation on the line here. He has not blinked. He's quite happy to take it on. He's talked about it being a transition season. He's actually pressed the ownership a little bit to bring players in as well. So I think the kids would say he's got aura, wouldn't they? I'm too old to say that, but yeah, he has got a bit of aura about him, I think.
Thanks for giving us your insight, Mark. It's been a pleasure to have you on. Just remind us where we can follow you, read your work.
Yeah, it's the iPaper. So if you go on there, I've got my own page on there, but we do loads of Newcastle stuff, loads of stuff to come this season as well. So
brilliant. Well, I'm sure we'll speak to you again across the season. Thank you very much, Mark Douglas, Northern football correspondent for the I newspaper, and he's been covering Newcastle United for the best part of 2 decades. With us on BBC Radio Newcastle. Kick-off 25 minutes away at St James's Park. Blue skies, bit of a breeze, but a warm, sunny afternoon. And Kevin Keegan tributes will begin after the warm-ups. We will tell you everything that's going on here at St James's Park as both clubs remember the great man. And a quick reminder of Newcastle United's team: Hornacek in goal, Dedic, Chow, Botman and Hall, Stir and Miley in midfield, Elanga, Wissa, Barnes and Osula. There have been other Premier League matches today, and as usual there was lots of sport, lots of football nationally and locally in non-league yesterday. So let's get some of the details now from Colin White.
Thank you very much indeed, Razor. Back with Razor and Ander very shortly. You will not miss anything of the pre-match tributes to Kevin Keegan. I will tell you firstly about the other 2 games in the Premier League, because they have both finished. And Manchester United have been saved by their centre halves. They were 1-0 down at home to Bournemouth. Marcus Tavernier, once upon a time a Newcastle United Academy player, had given Bournemouth the lead at half-time, and they were still winning in the 84th minute. But then Mark Gahey equalised for Manchester City, and Josko Gvardiol in the 91st minute turned it round for them at the Etihad. So Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1. Late drama there. Absolutely no drama in the second half at Brighton against Aston Villa. Brighton were 4-0 up on Villa at half-time, who had already had a man sent off, and that is how it finished as well. Jack Hinshelwood with 2, Maxim de Kuyper with another one. A Victor Lindelof own goal is what started the scoring for Brighton. João Gomes sent off on his Premier League debut. Brighton 4, Aston Villa 0. One game in the Championship as well that kicked off earlier on, and West Brom, who are here on Wednesday night in the League Cup, of course, beat Burnley by 3-1. A couple in there from Isaac Price. Yesterday Sunderland started their Premier League season with a 2-1 defeat at Ipswich. It was one of their old boys, Jack Clarke, who came back to haunt them, scoring a 90th minute winner. Sunderland had equalised just before half-time through a terrific free kick from Nielsen Angulo. Here is Sunderland's head coach, Régis Le Bris.
Yeah, we were in a game with the ball, 65% of possession. I think we are not excellent, but decent. Created a few chances. It's important to be clinical because if you score, then the game changes, and it wasn't the case. We had to chase after the first goal conceded. After that, I think the game was more balanced, and the end was a second mistake, so it's what it is.
So that is Régis Le Bris. Sunderland at home to Fulham next Sunday, by which time they'll have found out their 8 Europa League group stage opponents as well. That draw is made on Friday lunchtime. Elsewhere in the Premier League yesterday, Hull City beat Manchester United by 2-0. That was the half-time and the full-time score. Everton also beat Crystal Palace by the same scoreline. Kieran Dewsbury Hall and Tierno Barry. Leeds left it late but won 1-0 at Nottingham Forest, and Roberto De Zerbi's start to Spurs' managerial tenure did not go well. They were beaten 3-0 at Brentford. Arsenal, of course, had started us off on Friday night by beating Coventry City 3-0 as well. Speaking of 3-0s, as we delve into the non-league football from yesterday, that was the scoreline. Gateshead on the receiving end, though, of a defeat all the way down in Somerset against Yeovil. 2 in the last 10 minutes, making sure for Yeovil. Gateshead have now completed 2 of the very longest, in fact I think they are the 2 longest trips of the season, one down to Eastleigh, one down to Yeovil, but have yet to take any points from away matches this season. South Shields remain unbeaten, but they've lost their 100% record in National League North. They drew 1-1 at home to Merthyr Town. Kane Sykes gave them the lead 2 minutes into the second half. Robbie Tinkler then got 2 yellow cards in the space of 4 minutes. They hung on for a point, but they did concede at one stage. Here is their manager, Mike Williamson.
I really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed all the prep coming up to it. They're a very good team. They've got good players, and I thought it was a really good advert for the league. And the first half was cagey. I think both teams could have scored. And then, Tinks getting sent off, I think, changed everything. Obviously, 10 men when you against a team that moved the ball so well, we had to be diligent, and we were, apart from one set piece.
So South Shields have 10 points from their first 4 games. So too to Hebburn Town. A brilliant 2-1 win away at Buxton. Jake Charles with both of those goals. Here's a happy Hebburn boss, Daniel Moore.
Really good. Really proud of the players to come away from home against a full-time team, a very good team at that, and we defended really well, and we were a threat going the other way. So I know it might sound simple, but the players have carried out the game plan we've had since the start of the season again very well, and we deserve 3 points, to be honest.
We will hear more from both Mike Williamson and Daniel Moore at half-time. It was also the preliminary round of the FA Cup yesterday. Disappointment for Ashington. They were 2-0 up at half-time, but they lost 3-2 at home to Thornaby. Blythe Spartans are through. They beat Morpeth by 2-1 at Croft Park. Dunstan are through as well. They were 2-0 winners away at Carlisle City. Concert out after losing 2-1 at home to Mask United. And Heaton Stannington into the draw on Monday by the skin of their teeth. A 99th minute equaliser from Leighton Hopper. A rebound penalty very late on is what gave them a 2-2 draw at Kendal Town. They had the lead after 10 minutes, and so those two sides will replay at Groundsel Park on Tuesday. In cricket, Durham demolished Derbyshire with a day to spare yesterday to increase their lead at the top of County Championship Division 2. Martin Emerson has more.
It was a tale of the two bends as McKinney and Stokes helped Durham to an emphatic 3-day win in Derby. McKinney hit 140 and Stokes 66 not out in their second innings total of 295 for 6 declared, and chasing an improbable 423 for victory, Derbyshire then capitulated inside 26 overs, with Stokes taking 5 wickets for just 17 runs. Derbyshire were dismissed for 84, with Durham sealing victory by 338 runs, and they remain unbeaten with 5 games to go.
Durham are at home to Gloucestershire next, starting on Thursday. Also a story revolving around the Durham cricketer Bryden Carse that we have only got wind of in the last 5 minutes or so. He is under investigation after he was reportedly involved in an incident at a nightclub in Derby on Saturday. That was after the England. Well, that's the England and Wales Cricket Board who have confirmed that. Social media videos appearing to show him in handcuffs being led away from a club by 4 police officers. That's in Derby, but nothing to do with Durham's game in Derbyshire. Well, that's not who he was playing for. He is England's squad for the second test against Pakistan this week. He was seen out with his Durham and sometimes England teammate Matthew Potts, but he was, I've realised I made a mistake there, he was with Durham against Derbyshire this week. Rugby League to finish, Newcastle Thunder recorded yet another victory in their final home game in the season in the Championship. They beat Midlands Hurricanes 56-20 at Blaydon yesterday. A hat-trick for Brad Ward in there and 8 conversions from the boot of Miles Harrison and Wells. Speedway, I can't fit it in. The Berwick Bandits keeping up their perfect home record this season They beat Redcar Bears 46-44 at Shieldfield last night. Right then, we are barely 17 minutes away from kick-off and plenty to happen between now and then at St James's Park. Newcastle United against Liverpool. Kick-off is at 4:30. Plenty of tributes to be paid between now and then. Let's rejoin Matthew Racebeck and John Anderson.
Matt Bailey at breakfast. We're talking mundane skills this morning. Mickey and Ashwinning, what's yours?
I was very known in school to be able to knock out songs and theme tunes by using a good old trouser cuff.
What? You used to be able to do theme tunes by trumping?
Yeah.
What was the best theme tune you ever managed to knock out?
I think the Pink Panther. This doesn't win the radio awards, I don't know what will, mate.
Matt Bailey at breakfast. Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle. Total Sport North East.
Live from St James's Park.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
And from 4:30, commentary on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds on United against Liverpool. Pretty much relentless booing of Alexander Isak. Every move he makes, everything he does, he's making his way to the tunnel, and he smiles and gets a lot of grief for doing that. We'll hear more from Matthias Jaisler shortly, but let's get the perspectives from some of the supporters here at a sold-out St James's Park on Kevin Keegan on the season ahead. A little earlier, BBC Radio Newcastle's Harry Roy spoke to some of those fans.
How are you feeling ahead of the first match of the season, first and foremost? Very nervous, but very positive, and I think we're going to do all right. Yeah. Belter. Yeah?
Yeah. Nervous. Very nervous.
Think Newcastle will win though, or?
Yeah, well, it's a new manager, new era.
Excited. Looking forward to seeing how the new team and new manager cope with the Premier League.
Yeah.
Excited, nervous.
Is there any expectation for you? Because it's a brand new era at the club, so many new players, lots have left, and it's a tough first match as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think obviously we're missing some key players as well with Joe Linton and Dan Byrne now being out. But I just think if we can gel together and work hard and put 100% in, I think we could get a result today.
Nervous. Yeah? Very nervous, yeah. Because it's a complete unknown, isn't it, what we're about to see out there with so many new players and a new manager.
We need more players desperately. It's about time. They've got the money out there and sign some more. We need it.
What's your name?
Archie.
What do you think the score's going to be, Archie?
3-2.
To Newcastle?
Yeah.
Can I get a how are the lads?
How are the lads?
How we're feeling then, brand new season, you've got your shades on. Yep. Classic Newcastle top. Is this an original?
It's not an original, my friend. I did have the original years ago, but these grey hairs have been earned, you see, and of course that top went by the wayside years ago. But I thought today, there's so many of the Adidas shirts and so many of the sort of the seller frontages, that doesn't shout Kevin Keegan to me, so I wanted something a bit more nostalgic, yeah?
Yeah, and it's going to be emotional before kick-off.
I think so, definitely, my friend, yeah. There was a great thing on the One show the other day, and watching that just made you tear up a little bit, so yeah.
What did he mean to you?
Keegan, I was here for his very first game. In those days, we lived in Embleton, way up in the north of Northumberland, and I came down here and I had to queue all the way around the ground to get 15 tickets. I had to get tickets for everybody in the village, he was iconic when he signed. I was here for his last game when he left in the helicopter. it's really fitting to be here. I'm really pleased I'm lucky enough to have a ticket.
And it feels like it's meant to be playing against Liverpool as well, the opening day of the season.
Well, yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, people were saying out there, if it was 4-3 today, then you would love it. You would just love it, wouldn't you?
I think it's really nice of what Wolf Flags have done, and I think it's really sad about his passing, but the display is absolutely wonderful.
I'm welling up just thinking about it, to be honest. And I've seen what they're going to do in the ground. It's going to be absolutely amazing for him. And and there's a lot of older players here. I've seen Espria, Ferdinand, Beasley, they're all here today, and I'm sure there's a lot more as well.
I'm looking forward to it, but I think it'll be an emotional game in terms of remembering Kevin Keegan for both sides, obviously, because he was a great player for both. But it'll be an emotional game, I think.
And you've seen some of the outline as well of the stadium. It's going to be something else, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait for kick-off.
Kevin Keegan displayed today is the backdrop of this all. It's going to be emotional before kick-off, isn't it?
Emotional before kick-off. We'll get it out of the way, and then we get stuck into Isak.
Do you think it's going to be one of the worst receptions for an opposition player for a long, long time?
I think it's going to be the worst ever.
Yeah, that's why we got here so early, so we could have a little wander around and soak all it in.
And the Keegan display, it's going to be emotional, isn't it? It's going to be emotional for me. Knew him, saw him, played darts with him, played snooker with the guy. Fantastic, what a star. Great sadness. Rest in peace, King Kev.
Total Sport North East.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Some of the supporters here at St James's Park speaking to Harry Roy a little earlier. The warm-ups have finished, and as the final Newcastle players, some of the substitutes make their way off the pitch and down the tunnel. Here comes the Liverpool team, so in about 20 seconds we're going to be drowned out by more booing. When Isak's name is read out. What have they got? They've got two more players. Let's just wait. Here we go. He's next. Well, there's going to be a lot of that today. There's already been a lot of it. Away from Liverpool and Isak, the Kevin Keegan tributes have started. Centre circle at St James's Park. There is a mosaic which is made of more than 500 shirts that were left outside St James's Park in the days following Kevin Keegan's death last month. Shirts not just of Newcastle United, of black and white, but of England, of Liverpool, of all clubs, even Sunderland too, and they have been stitched together into a mosaic which is in the centre circle of St James's Park. There is a border, an outer edge that is in black and white that says one Kevin Keegan, walking in a Keegan wonderland. There are messages for the great man on the edge of the mosaic, and then in the middle it is mainly black and white, but then using shirts of other clubs, some Newcastle away kits, a colourful centrepiece which says the word legend. And when they had so many shirts left there, the club and the club's fan advisory board had a decision to make over what to do with them, and I don't think they could have done anything better. John Anderson, it's spectacular.
Yeah, it is. It's very impressive. They've done an absolutely fabulous job. We've seen the amount of shorts that were left, and they put them to good use. I mean, it's very, very impressive.
The War Flags group have been hard at work as always, but particularly now, and a message is being readied at the Gallagher end, and one of the Tifo banners is now being raised from pitch side up to the top of the east stand under the Newcastle United lettering and the club flags on the far side of St James's Park. And it's 5 images of the great man, with one of him as manager in classic 90s Adidas training wear in the middle of a shield, and then other images of him as a player and one as a manager around it, and in gold lettering it says King Kev. Beautifully done. And now one of the Kevin Keegan tribute videos is being played on the big screens around St James's Park. And at the Gallagher end to our right-hand side, one of Kevin Keegan's most famous quotes: "I want people to dream about their football club. They should. We should all be dreamers at heart." Some people are the opposite and say, we can't do that. But when you ask them why, they can't give a reason. Well, I say, why not? And doesn't that just sum up Kevin Keegan? That mindset, that attitude, that philosophy, because that's what he brought to Newcastle United as player and particularly as manager.
Without a shadow of a doubt, for those who were lucky enough to know Kevin personally, he just made everybody feel so special. He had an unbelievable aura about him. He had time for everybody. He wouldn't see anybody go without an autograph. He would stay there for hours and then sign an autograph. He had this belief, and that belief transformed to everybody around him. When he was here as a player, he was unbelievable, but what he did when he came back as a manager, Newcastle United could very easily gone into the old third division back then, and if that had happened, Razor, it's very difficult to think where this football club would be now. And one of the reasons that they are where they are now is all down to Kevin Keegan and his foresight for the club and the way that he's seen it. He was an unbelievable man. He really was.
I don't think I've ever seen St James's Park look like this, and it is a tribute befitting of the great man, perhaps the greatest of them all in Newcastle United terms, and also a Liverpool legend, and the away section are playing their part in remembering King Kev. Supporters all around St James's holding up black and white foil, but at the Leazes end it's not black and white stripes in the Liverpool section, it's red and white, and it says Keegan, and then underneath in the home section of the Leazes end it's the red number 7, just like he wore on the back of his shirt in his 2 brilliant years as a player in the 1980s. But the black and white stripe formation all around the rest of St James's, huge noise as Newcastle United and Liverpool and St James's Park come together to say thank you and farewell to Kevin Keegan. It's been beautifully handled, tastefully, respectfully so. It's really classy, and as I said, Ando, I'm sure you'll agree, it's exactly what a man of his stature, his eminence, with everything he meant and still does mean to both clubs, deserves.
Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. I mean, it's so impressive. It's unbelievable. It shows the respect in which Kevin was held, not only by Newcastle supporters but by Liverpool supporters as well, who are doing their bit on level 7 as well. It's some spectacle. It really is, and he would have loved it. He really would have loved it.
Let's hope it's a game and a result that he would have loved as well. Had a look earlier, and you can get odds between 50 to 1 and 150 to 1, depending on where you go, for 4-3 to Newcastle United. That really would be something, wouldn't it? But there is a game to be played. It kicks off in 5 minutes. The teams are in the tunnel here at St James's Park. It is a new era for Newcastle United as Matthias Jaisler takes charge of his first Premier League game.
First of all, really grateful, and I consider that this is a huge privilege to be coach of Newcastle United at that stage of my career already, but I also feel that's a huge responsibility, and I'm aware of that. So what I can do, it's every day giving my best to try to improve, to try to support the lads in the way we're doing it right now. I'm really, really happy with the commitment the lads show on the training ground, and we're going totally in the right direction. So I'm happy and I'm really grateful.
Malik Chow leads out Newcastle United in the absence of the injured Dan Burn, who has an ankle problem and will miss a few weeks. Alexander Isak is there, looking out across the stadium that he played at, excelled at, and became a hero in so many times. And he taps hands with some of his former colleagues. There's some new players there that he won't know. There's 3 debutants in the Newcastle team. Referee today, Stuart Atwell from Warwickshire, last at St James's Park as referee in February when another Merseyside team, Everton, were here. Newcastle lost that day. Today, Atwell is assisted by Konstantin Hatzidakis and Lee Betts, Tony Harrington, 4th official, James Bell and Eddie Smart, the 2 VAR referees. And Matthias Jaisler presented to the crowd. He waves. He's quite a cool fella, doesn't seem to get flustered, doesn't really buy into the hype. So an understated wave, and he's focusing on the game. His players, whether they are ready or not, well, we'll find out, but the new season is here. And Newcastle United kick off against Liverpool, who finished 5th last season, having been champions the year before. Their captain Virgil van Dijk called their defence of the title unacceptable. And like Newcastle, they have a new manager, Andoni Iraola, the former Bournemouth boss, appointed early in June. And Iraola is unbeaten against Newcastle in 6 Premier League encounters while he was with Bournemouth. Newcastle United, black and white stripes, black shorts, black socks, but with a lot of blue on their new kit. Goalkeeper Hornicek in yellow. The officials are in blue shirts, black shorts and socks. And Liverpool with their red shirts, shorts and socks with white trim and white pattern on the shirts. And St James's Park has done Kevin Keegan proud today with the tributes, and there's going to be one more before kick-off as players gather around the centre circle, and a minute's applause is about to follow.
Of Kevin Keegan, one of the most iconic, influential and deeply loved figures in our club's history. Kevin was the beating heart of our club for many generations of fans, and the love shown for him and his family in recent weeks has been overwhelmingly heartfelt. We will once again unite to show our love for Kevin with a period of applause, which will start and end on the referee's whistle.
Never be anybody quite like Kevin Keegan, will that? And a minute's applause in honour of the former Newcastle player and manager and former Liverpool player. 2 team huddles either side of the centre circle, and we are almost ready to go. Remember, you can listen to our commentary today on the BBC Sounds app. Get the Newcastle perspective there. If you have a smart speaker, ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle. Liverpool, Alisson, Frimpong, Jacquet, Van Dijk, Kerkez, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Gamoa, Wirtz, Gakpo and Isak, who's going to kick off. Newcastle, Hornicek, Dedic, Chow, Botman, Hall, Stur, Miley, Elanga, Wissa, Barnes, Osula. It has already been an emotional day. Now Newcastle United can make it a great one on the pitch as their season and the Matthias Jaisler era gets underway, and they've won the ball back from Liverpool in midfield, and Osula has got a free kick for a handball by Gravenberch, who's sliding in as Newcastle won it back from the kick-off. And just ahead of halfway, free kick for Lewis Hall to take. So Liverpool kicking off, but Newcastle with a fast start. Early evidence perhaps of Jaisler's intense style following on from what came before under Eddie Howe. Lewis Hall floats in the free kick to the box. It's headed across the area and goalkeeper Alisson comes and claims it. So a pretty harmless one. 55 seconds on the clock. Liverpool have it on the floor. Lees' end of St James's Park. Newcastle kicking to the left up the hill as we look, although the slope is not as pronounced as it was because they did some work on the pitch and they've reduced it by about a third over the summer. Part of a 30 million investment by the club in facilities, stadium, training grounds, academy in the close season. United trying to win it back on the edge of the Liverpool defensive third, but they've broken their way through the line. Liverpool, Wirtz across to Gakpo, Isak in the middle, Gakpo edge of the area, Wirtz takes a touch, his shot's blocked by Hall, Barnes comes to get it, goes shoulder to shoulder with Frimpong, clears it up the line, Osula chases, Jacquet comes over, sticks it straight out of play. Jacquet wants a free kick, the young defender, Iraola complains to the referee, Newcastle throw.
Never a free kick.
Play on. Hall up to Osula, trying to hold off Jacquet. Van Dijk behind him, sticks his boot through the ball. Very much like that Peter Kay advert.
Yeah.
Have it.
Yeah.
It's another throw on the left.
Wasn't messing about, was he?
Third minute at St James's Park, up to Osula. He's held it up and held off his man, but Liverpool managed to win it back, get the second ball. Here's Gamoa, plays it against Barnes on halfway. Hall into a couple of challenges, up it goes. Hall then with a header, Gravenberch heads forward, Stur onto Wissa, climbs, takes it on his chest, gets nudged over, free kick, and Matthias Jaisler with his navy suit, crisp white shirt and shiny white trainers. He's very smartly dressed, isn't he? He applauds. Free kick.
Suave, isn't he?
Yeah. Back to Hornicek. Stur to Chow. And has hammered that forwards. Van Dijk stabs it away. Stur then wins it from Isak, who had his first sort of touch but didn't really get the ball under control. Now Sven Botman looking towards Osula. Jacquet wins the header. And Wirtz looking to get Isak in behind. He's into the penalty area on the right, brings it down, and is dispossessed by Lewis Hall. Now they've got to clear, and Hall gets rid. Elanga having his shirt held by Kerkez. He couldn't spin and chase after it, but it was too long anyway. 0-0, Liverpool with it in their half of the pitch. It's been a noisy, and although there's been no big incident yet, pretty breathless start. Gamoa trying to go outside Hall, turns back to Frimpong for Liverpool. Inside to Jeremy Jacquet. Back to him from Gravenberch. Wissa playing behind Osula, leading the press. Liverpool have worked it quickly, and here's Gravenberch across the penalty area. Dedic slides in. That's turned into a good ball, and away they go. This is what they're good at. Osula, and plays in Elanga, who can run and take it on, and Elanga scores! What a start for Matthias Jaisler. Anthony Elanga put through by
vertical football, then let's have more of that over the next few years. Brilliant, devastating Newcastle attack. Osula through for Elanga, and so many times last season there was no end product. Well, right there was, tucked away by Elanga, and it's Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0.
Great ball, Osula. Elanga uses his pace, gets away. Had an awful lot to do. It's a great finish across Alisson, who's got no chance. Ball nestles in the back of the net. Just the start the manager would have wanted.
Do you remember Aston Villa on the opening weekend last season when Elanga went one-on-one after, well, 3 or 4 minutes? And like today, he hit it straight at the keeper, and maybe the tone was set for his season, which did have some big moments, Barcelona, Man City. But let's hope that signals a real uptick in form for Elanga, who had a productive World Cup, didn't he? And he's had a productive 5 minutes, scoring the opening goal. Great start.
Yeah, just used his pace, got away from Kerkers. As I said, great finish, still had a little bit of work to do.
Ball on the floor for Hornacek. Out to Dedic, looking up the line. Liverpool have won it. All the attention on one Swede at one end, but it's another who has shown he knows where the net is. Elanga for Newcastle United, live on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. There's still 85 minutes to go. And you know when Newcastle play Liverpool that things happen.
4-3's on, isn't it?
Well, both teams need 3 goals each for that to materialise. But 4-3 the right way, please, this time. Gravenberch to Szoboszlai in midfield. Signed a new contract this summer. Szoboszlai, big player for Liverpool. Here's Wirtz in behind for Frimpong, low ball in, Isak can't hold it, and Elanga clears. Ooh, Osula was in the middle. Elanga swung it away rather than looking to play it to feet. It's no criticism. Just got rid. Liverpool into the box, away by Newcastle. Barnes has caught Wirtz, who's gone down quite heavily, and then gets up very quickly once he hears the whistle. Free kick, 25 yards out, almost in line with the side of the penalty box. 8th minute. But 1-0 to Newcastle. First set piece for Hornacek to organise and arrange on his Premier League debut. And he's a big boy, the Newcastle goalkeeper. It's just off his line as Szoboszlai swings it in, and it's headed over.
Corner kick.
Referee's given a corner on the far left-hand side. Not sure who got the final touch. Both teams competing for the ball as it went back post. Might have hit the back of a Newcastle player, or it might have hit a Newcastle player, then gone up and out of a Liverpool man. Anyway, here's the corner. Nobody on either post. Ball to the 6-yard line. Haul away. Wirtz takes a touch. It's down to Kerkers on the far side. Newcastle without the ball, but trying to get set, and Botman heads it, but it's gone straight to Gakpo. Chow makes a block, then a tackle to stop Gakpo having a follow-up effort, and stir out to Dedic, who drops his shoulder, plays it up the line, and what's the decision? Free kick or throw? It's Newcastle's ball anyway, and Matthias Eisler applauds, and Donny Iraola scratches his chin. 1-0 to United on BBC Radio Newcastle. Throw taken. Wissa tries to hold it up, wins another throw. Amar Dedic who celebrated his 24th birthday on the day he signed for the club on Tuesday. Gets it back into play. Elanga using his pace, gives Kerkez a shove. Challenge comes in on Elanga. Liverpool are going to get the decision. Seemed like Kerkez was on top of the ball, and Newcastle were desperate to get it back, to wrestle it back from him, and he has won a free kick close to the assistant referee. Elanga's pace is terrifying, and Liverpool were almost in a pickle there, weren't they, when he went sprinting after the ball.
Got to get the ball to him and get it into that area as often as you can, because he most definitely has the legs of Kerkez. Mind you, he has the legs of most people.
It's the voice of John Anderson, the former Newcastle defender, with us once again on BBC Radio Newcastle. And we're pleased that we will have every Newcastle United and every Sunderland match live for you once again, right here across the season and in the years ahead as well. Here's Johan Wissa, fouled, tripped next to halfway by Kerkez. Free kick played back. Botman now playing it up to Barnes, holding off Frimpong, trying to turn inside and shuffles and moves outside and plays it to Hall, who chases after it with Gamoa on his shoulder, keeps it in next to the left corner. Hall, foot on the ball, 3 red shirts there. Oh, lovely pass through a gap to Barnes. His cross is blocked. He's got it back for Wissa, and it's out wide to Hall, and Newcastle trying to keep possession. They might go back to the keeper here. It's Botman on halfway, and they do. Hornacek's got it in the D. No immediate pressure from Liverpool. 12th minute. Play to Chow on the right. Sturr drops in between the centre-backs. Chow goes long. Osula trying to run after it. Van Dijk, they've let it bounce. And Alisson's come out of his goal. And Wissa's tried a volley on his left. First time from the dropping ball, from the goalkeeper's headed clearance. Liverpool... Nobody really seemed to communicate there, and Newcastle.
They didn't take control of the 2 centre-backs, didn't take control of the situation at all. Alisson comes and he heads it. Wissa, he's tried to just lob it straight back over the goalkeeper's head, who's stranded outside the penalty area, and he just stuck it out of play for a throw-in. Idea was right.
Such a difficult technique, isn't it?
It wasn't the easiest, was it?
I don't know if there was time to bring it down, or the way the ball was dropping, whether he could have done that. But that ball in behind, Osula, I mean, the defenders had a head start on him, and like Elanga, he's electric, and he put them under serious pressure. It remains 1-0 to Newcastle United. This is Wirtz in the centre of the Magpies half, in between Barnes and Hall, but it might be too strong, and it is for teenager Rio Gamoa on the Liverpool right wing. Goal kick. And I think St James's Park, the majority of it, Ando is enjoying the opening period here, 13 played.
Yeah, why not? 1-0 up already. Great start.
Hornacek out to the right, Osula there with Van Dijk. Oh, it's gone backwards off Van Dijk, and Frimpong to the goalkeeper with a back pass that is now cleared with Barnes on the shoulder of the defender. Miley's header. Szoboszlai to Frimpong, away from Miley, who's chasing, and then Lewis Hall intercepts Frimpong's pass, and he's got pace up ahead. Hall on the diagonal. Elanga's after this, and if anyone was going to get there, it would be Elanga, but the ball just had a bit too much behind it. Liverpool throw not far from their corner flag on the left side of defence.
Yeah, you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get it in behind Kerkez. A little bit direct, but when you've got that type of pace, you've got to utilise it.
Amar Dedic plays the ball off a red shirt, gets a Newcastle throw. He should be fully fit. He's been playing for Benfica in European qualifiers, Dedic. So he's come in and straight into the team, and they need him, with Miley obviously not having had much football, but he's in midfield. Livramento injured. Here's Miley with a header, one from Wirtz in the middle, and Sean Sturr away from Isak. And Sturr, overhead.
There it goes again.
In behind, but that's the ball.
It is the ball. It's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Elanga in behind Kirkes.
1-0 to Newcastle United. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Long from Alisson. Chow climbs. Isak couldn't win the header. Wissa snaps into a challenge. Wirtz has got it near the centre circle. Wissa's won it back. Dedic has been tripped by Gakpo. Free kick taken immediately. Out to the right by Dedic towards Elanga. Osula making his move up the middle. Amar Dedic to Elanga and gets it back again. 30 yards from Liverpool's goal. And back to Sturr. Inside to Chow. He sees a gap, he moves into it. Hall's free on the near touchline. Newcastle just inside Liverpool territory. Barnes made the run. Hall didn't have the space to bend it into in terms of being able to get the pass away for Barnes' run. So he goes back. Hornacek now to Chow, and there's Sturr dropping into the back line again. So comfortable on the ball, isn't he? I think we can see that. Big day for him. Commentators curse, he's just given it away. Gamoa chased by Hall and tackled by Miley, pushes him back and away from goal. Frimpong inside to Rio Gamoa. Isak on the right touchline next to the Milburn stand. He plays it inside, makes a run, doesn't get the ball. Soboslai has it, plays it square to the feet of Van Dijk, who takes a touch, pushes it forward. Wirtz has drifted out wide left. That ball back is behind Kirkes, and his pass towards Alisson is controlled by the keeper on his thigh and played forwards to the right-sided centre-back Jacquet. He threads it through for Gamoa. Hall is with him, puts his hands behind his back, trying to avoid a handball. Deep cross to the far post. Dedic gets underneath it. Isak goes off in pursuit, keeps it in. Isak on the left wing for Liverpool. Gallagher end. Elanga with him. Isak rolls it back to Kirkes, who has a touch. Flat delivery. Chow with a block. Follow-up effort there from Wirtz. And Lucas Hornacek gets down low to scoop the ball up and away and behind for a corner.
Yeah, snapshot from Wirtz. Gets down really well, the goalkeeper. It's a decent stop. Ball in is flat by Kirkes. Good save.
Liverpool's first big moment in attack. Dominic Szoboszlai now with a corner kick, right-footed, out-swinger. Van Dijk went for a diving header, missed it. And that's Kirkes firing it high and away from goal. At one point it was still Van Distan who got this treatment, this chant. Then it became Michael Owen's song. A few others have probably had it. There's one greedy so-and-so. And now it's for Alexander Isak. Up the line, Newcastle from the play out from the back. Liverpool to Alisson. And it's long into midfield, but Miley tall and strong and winning it in the air from Szoboszlai. Dedic under pressure, back to Chow and to the feet of Hornacek. There's been a lot to like about the early performance. 1-0 up, 19th minute.
Yeah, they've kept their shape really well, haven't they?
Chow holding off Wirtz up the line. Elanga slightly behind Dedic, but he's adjusted. Kept possession for his team. Sturr and Miley. And Botman to Hall on this near side, a drop of the shoulder and away. His pass towards Wissa is intercepted. Up the line to Isak, dispossessed Liverpool. Miley read that situation, got to the ball first. Now Sturr looking for Elanga, taken on by Kirkes. Sturr makes a challenge. It's competitive stuff. And now Newcastle get a free kick. Despite some Liverpool appeals in there, it's a foul on Elanga near the edge of the box. And a chance to catch their breath, Newcastle. William Osula has come to the touchline. So he's been handed, I don't know, maybe some medication from the doctor. He's taking a swig from a bottle after
giving him something, isn't he?
Yeah, having something else. He's back into the middle, and the ball is back in play. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Dedic gave his man a shove and won a throw on halfway far side. Because the fast-paced nature of the game, not had a lot of chance, Ando, to talk to you about some of the selection decisions, but here in Newcastle through Wissa winning it, but the referee spotted a foul in midfield on the Liverpool left far side. Sturr and Miley. I think a lot of people probably want to see Sturr and Miley, but were you surprised that they're both in there together, given their age and Miley's lack of football?
I thought Ramsey would have been in there, but two of them have started well, haven't they?
Liverpool trying to grow into the game. Gravenberch, they've probably had more possession in the last few minutes than Newcastle. There's a ball to the outside, and Kirkez's cross is pushed away, repelled by Hornacek. Newcastle get it clear into the attacking half, and they push up slightly, but they haven't committed too many players forwards. They've reached the middle of their half and they've decided to stop. And Liverpool, through Soboslai, now have to find a way through. Chips it out wide. Gamoa tried to spin and turn. Barnes and Hall were there, and they've got it back, United, and Botman clears. Jacquet's header straight to Wissa. Barnes is up the left wing. Wissa, tidy play. Miley, could have gone forwards to Elanga. He'd come into the middle, he wanted it, didn't get it, but they've kept the ball, and it's with Chow, and Sturr does a step over, back inside to Chow. Isak on his shoulder, out to Sturr, and then inside and back to goalkeeper Hornacek. 1-0, they lead through Elanga's 5th minute goal. Botman up to Wissa, back to Miley, and he's looked for the run of Dedic on the diagonal. What a ball from Miley, and it's a good run too by Amar Dedic, and he's got a shot away which is deflected over by Liverpool. Good play.
Yeah, yet again, plenty of room down our right side. Kirkez getting sucked in. It's a great ball by Miley, great switch of play. Fullback got on his bike, direct as well, wasn't he? He was positive.
Great applause for Lewis Hall, who takes the ball over to the corner on the far side, midway through the first half. Dedic has stayed back, but Liverpool have got everybody back in their box defending. Chow makes a run, Hall lifts it in, and it's Gakpo who heads clear. Dedic has got it, lifted out to Barnes, lets the ball bounce, and with it in the wide left position, Harvey Barnes is having to come back with it. He's held off Frimpong, played it to Dedic, and he's knocked it around his man, tried to go the other side. Liverpool clear, Newcastle have it through Chow on halfway, and it goes back to Hornacek. When they have lost it, they've been able to recover it. Generally, decision making has seemed to be quite good today, even if they have to start again.
Keeping the shape really well, playing to the strengths.
Botman up towards Barnes. Liverpool win it. Here's Isak, tackled by Hall. No foul. Isak is down, and St James's Park is on its feet to give him a bit more. Wissa, great turn from Wissa, and what a ball inside by Wissa. Osula is there. Jacquet makes the challenge. Osula went down as the keeper came out. He couldn't do anything with the ball. No foul, it's a goal kick, but Wissa was superb in the build-up there and almost created a big chance for Osula to score.
Have a look at it.
There will be a VAR check. Osula didn't really appeal, it's Wissa who's appealing. I think the game's just going to continue and proceed. It was Jacquet on Osula, but no penalty. James Bell on VAR, quick look. Match continues. Correct decision on the tackle on Isak as well, no free kick.
Haven't seen it again. No, there was no claims, was there? He didn't claim, he didn't appeal.
Most of St James's Park agreed with the referee. wasn't a foul. Here's Isak laying it off to Szoboszlai. He has been fouled. He's been pushed over by Wissa, who gets a yellow card.
Soft yellow.
Stuart Atwell endearing himself to Liverpool after upsetting them a couple of times. Matthias Jaissler shakes his head. Fourth official makes a note of the booking. 25 on the clock. For a lot of players this would be too far out, but Dominik Szoboszlai has hit some incredible free kicks. There was one last season, wasn't there? Was it against Arsenal? If my memory serves me correctly, from a long way, that he got incredible bend on.
Yeah.
This is more to the right.
Was it Arsenal that was against?
I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Newcastle put the wall just at the side of the D. Amar Dedic lies down on the 18-yard line. Alisson's come to halfway. He's trying to get a message to his forward players. Hornacek is saying something to the Newcastle wall. Barnes keeping an eye on Gamoa on this near side. Szoboszlai might be about to strike. Newcastle lead 1-0. Here is Szoboszlai's effort from the free kick, straight into a big black and white wall. Jaissler straight off the bench to give instructions to his players. Szoboszlai loses it under pressure from Osula, tackled by Miley, and now Hall up the line for Osula. He can just run. He's got 4 defenders with him. Osula still going to Elanga, edge of the area, now wide to Barnes. And it's gone for a Liverpool throw. Good work getting back by Szoboszlai, but another exciting quick break from Newcastle. They were just outnumbered as they approached goal.
Got tied up under Barnes' feet, didn't it? Couldn't get it out of his feet quick enough.
Here come Andoni Iraiola's side. Gravenberg to Wirtz, left side. Gakpo takes it inside. Onto his right, that's where he likes to get it, from the left wing. Onto his right, his shot is blocked, edge of the area. Gakpo's got it again, close to the corner of the box, far side. Kerkez links up with Gakpo, first time left-footed cross. Hall gets a shout, heads it to the edge of the box. Barnes trying to clear. He lost out to Frimpong initially and then won it back, clears it into midfield, but Osula seems to be limping. Might have a problem. Liverpool towards Frimpong, edge of the area. It's hoisted clear by Botman. Osula's not comfortable. He's shaking off a knock, but he's not moving freely. We'll keep an eye on that situation. Liverpool crossfield ball towards the east stand to Gakpo on the outside of Dedic, who slides in, stops the flow of his move, and Elanga comes in, takes it out wide and chips it forwards. It's straight onto the chest of Van Dijk, and when Newcastle get it clear at the moment, it's coming back at them. Jacquet, 30 yards from goal, central position to Szoboszlai. Roll to the feet of Gamoa. Hall stays with him. Gamoa passes it straight to Botman. Miley's got it here. Tries to go between challengers. It ran for Barnes, but the referees brought it back for the foul. 1-0 Newcastle United lead. John Anders.
Yeah, it's been a decent 28 minutes. Nice and compact. Filling holes, giving Liverpool no real room to play in, and then trying to hit them on the break, trying to get in behind Kerkez is the main outlet all the time.
Botman up towards Osula, intercepted by Jacquet. It's a big lad, isn't he? And he looks a good player. He's found Kerkez, who's had a shot which Hornacek just pats down and then picks up. Second attempt. Liverpool effort on target, but Lucas Hornacek, who's made one really impressive save down there to deny the Liverpool left back. Chow up to Elanga. He's held it and he's holding off Kerkez. Might be a foul. It is now, as Elanga tried to roll inside. Referees are going to produce the yellow card after some consideration. Yes, he is. Some consideration and some encouragement from
crowd got
Newcastle
him
supporters. Yeah,
crowd got him boot.
Well, levelling it up maybe after the Wissa yellow card, but he did have a pull of the shirt of Elanga, and it's a free kick and it's a booking. Kirkes up against Elanga on a yellow. Try and get those two one-on-one. Here's Barnes, takes it nicely inside. Barnes running towards the edge of the box. He's got the free kick. As the challenge came in, yellow card from Frimpong. Both Liverpool fullbacks now yellow carded. We hesitated because it looked like he took the ball as Barnes took it across goal. Frimpong came across. We did get a bit of the leg first, the outside of Barnes' left leg, so referee had a good view. Yellow card, free kick, about 5 yards back from the edge of the area. Very similar position to the Szoboszlai set piece a few minutes ago, but this one's Newcastle's, away to our left at the Leazes end as they look to double their lead under.
Yeah. Looks like Osula fancies it as well. He's the one with the ball in his hands, just placed it on the spot.
Hit one against West Ham, didn't he, end of last season? Hit the woodwork.
Hall is there as well.
And hopefully Osula's okay. We'll find out. If he sticks this into the top corner, then we know he's all right. St James's Park waits for this free kick. 31 minutes played. Osula and Hall next to the ball. It looks like it is going to be William Osula. It's straight into the wall. It's come back to him, and his follow-up effort takes a big deflection off Szoboszlai and goes for a corner on the right.
First one wasn't great, but he's won a corner kick.
He's still limping. Neither effort had probably the intended force or direction in it. But they've got this corner. It's Hall again from the right. Elanga with the only goal after 5 minutes on the break for Newcastle. Here from a set piece. Hall delivers. Botman just misses out. Headed away. Back out to the far side by the Liverpool defence. Hall goes on the outside of Wirtz and then gets tackled. And then makes a good challenge. But it runs for Liverpool second time around. And here's Isak to carry them forwards. Dedic with it. Isak plays it across the pitch. Jaisler is going mad on the touchline. Frimpong's ball in, stopped by Sturr. Miley's got it, and this is Wissa who moves into space. Wissa still got it. Neat little layoff to Barnes, gets his head up, back to Wissa, back to Botman. Good control of the ball from Newcastle, having won it back. More encouraging signs as Sturr.
Sloppy.
It's just mishit that.
Sloppy.
And it's behind Chow and out for a throw about 10 yards from the corner flag. Liverpool take a quick one on the left. Kirkes to Wirtz. It's gone behind for a goal kick. You need a little bit of fortune at times. That could have got Liverpool in, but it didn't. It's Newcastle's ball. They still lead 1-0. 33 minutes played.
It's been a good half hour, hasn't it?
Hornacek, Dedic, Chow, Botman, Hall, Sturr, Miley, Elanga, Wissa, Barnes, Osula is the 11. They haven't quite got the pass out from the back right, and under a bit of pressure, Hall's played it against Gamoa. It's just stayed in on the line. Liverpool with it. Hall forcing Gamoa away from goal. Gravenberch's there. He's lost it to Botman, but was caught by Miley. And he gets a yellow card.
Tell you what, there's plenty of soft yellow cards being brandished about here.
But that came about because they didn't get the short passing from the goal kick. Wasn't executed correctly. Liverpool on the right. And 25 yards out. Szoboszlai delivers, headed away as he looked for Isak to Newcastle, clearing header. Then Wissa, good challenge. Wissa on Kirkes, Newcastle throw. Jaisler back out there, edge of the technical area, applauding. No Joelinton, no Livramento, no Byrne today, the captain, because of an ankle injury, which will keep him out for a few weeks. Liverpool with Gomez. So they've got a few missing as well. Neither team necessarily at full strength. And still a week of the transfer window remaining. Wissa, good play, bringing it across midfield. Free kick given and taken quickly by United. And Botman away from Isak and up to halfway, and Osula chasing the ball in behind, and he's got there before Van Dijk, but Van Dijk leans in and wins it back. And Osula
just lent in on him, didn't he?
Still limping. Now tries to jog back into it. Gravenberch to Jacquet, who crosses the halfway line. Inside to Soboslai, wearing long sleeves today. Jacquet with his left wrist strapped, plays it back to Soboslai to the right of the centre circle. Newcastle have a 1-0 advantage to Anthony Elanga's goal. Rio Gamoa dropping his shoulder, going on the outside of Hall, delivers a cross which takes a deflection off Barnes and is gathered by Hornacek near post. Waits for Isak to come close and then picks it up. Do not get that wrong, especially not with him lurking. Chow to Dedic, back to Chow. It's a bit tight there and they've gone long. Van Dijk's put it out. Sula was on his shoulder. And the throw from Dedic into midfield. Osula's got it. Miley has a touch, it's come for Hall, lets it run across his body, turns, tries to go on the outside. It's been a big physical effort in the first half from Newcastle, and here's Lewis Hall with a pass to Miley, who's found some space, and he tries to roll in Barnes into the box, and behind it goes. Frimpong did some good defending, lent in on Barnes.
Yeah, it was good defending, wasn't he? Strong, stood his ground.
Fulham was 92 days ago, the end of last season. A campaign that we were all ready to see the back of, I think. Both teams here with new managers. Newcastle and Jaisler much happier than Liverpool and Iraola, but there's always the threat, isn't there, as they approach the penalty box and find Wirtz on the left. He tried to chip it back to Soboslai on the 18-yard line, but it's headed away. It was a vital header as well, and there's Botman stabbing it clear, stopping Isak from getting on it, but Frimpong now to Gamoa. Lewis Hall concentrating, rolled back to Frimpong, first time delivery, it's gone off a Newcastle head and then put behind by Dedic.
Yeah, he wasn't taking any chances, was he, the fullback? Wasn't sure who was around him. Safety first.
7 minutes plus added on time until the break. You can sense the nervousness, that nervous energy when Liverpool go forwards, which is always there, never mind whether Isak's involved or not. He is at the back of the box, he's being held by Wissa, in it comes, it's headed on by Liverpool and then out of a black and white shirt. Another corner, still over on that far left hand side. Soboslai's got the ball and prepares to take a second set piece. Newcastle have brought everybody back into the area, but they once again don't have anybody on either post. Gravenberch close to the keeper, Soboslai clips it in, Dedic header clear, Elanga chases, Frimpong is there, Miley comes out to close down Wirtz, inside to Gravenberch, who has a touch, tries to thread it through for Isak, it takes a deflection, and out comes Hornacek, who then picks it up and runs away from Isak with the ball in his hands to the edge of the area. And Lucas Hornacek drops it on the floor, has a touch, goes long. Elanga, whose starting position is on the left wing, goes after the ball. Van Dijk uncontested header straight to Wissa. Now Elanga again, back through for Wissa. Frimpong is there, he's kept it in and played it straight to Elanga. Newcastle staying on the attack, 1-0 ahead. And with the ball in the Liverpool half, Hall here wants a throw, doesn't get it. Soboslai takes it for Liverpool. Wirtz across the pitch, Isak chasing, Chow is there, clears it out of play. on halfway far side. They didn't make the most of that ball that was gifted back to them from Van Dijk, though. Some appeals for handball against Wirtz after the throw, nothing given, and Liverpool have possession across the middle of the pitch. By Jacquet to Chow, he's given it away to Gravenberg, who lines up a shot. Botman makes the block, got in the way, and Dedic here clears it, smacks it against the shins of Gakpo and behind for a goal kick. As a former right fullback, what do you make of Amar Dedic?
He's done well, he's played well, hasn't he?
First 40 minutes.
Yeah, he hasn't taken any chances, he's been neat and tidy.
That early goal from Elanga separating the teams. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds today. If you're going to be out and about later, switch to the free BBC Sounds app, search for BBC Radio Newcastle at the top, and you can listen to us. Continue to get the Newcastle perspective. Osula competes for the ball in the air with Van Dijk. Liverpool win it. Stir with a header. Van Dijk away again. It bounces. Botman's watching. Decides to hook it forwards rather than let it run. Jacquet's header there. Stir chases after the ball. Wirtz is onto it. Stir is with him and leads into his man. And the 18-year-old, signed from Ajax, shoulder to shoulder wins a throw. And the ball's on the floor. It's with Amar Dedic. Back to Malik Chow. Lucas Hornacek takes a touch over to Sven Botman. Hall up the line. Goalkeeper's on. It goes back inside to Hornacek. Swinging ball away off the outside of the right boot. Header, backwards header there from Frimpong. Barnes would have been away. Wissa there with a trip. Liverpool want him to get a second yellow card. Referee waves it away. Says no. And Iraiola's in the ear of the fourth official, and surprisingly, Liverpool players, to be fair, just after a quick appeal got on with it quickly, but the manager's not happy. Barnes with a challenge, a fair one, a strong one, and Miley has it. Now they need to find a pass. They've got Elanga, man on his shoulder. Elanga nudged over by Gakpo, free kick, centre circle, Liverpool half. Elanga was just getting his feet moving. Once he gets into full flow, into full tilt, it's really something to see. But he couldn't get away. Gakpo made sure of that. 43rd minute. Wissa just looks a lot more. I know he's had pre-season, he's had the World Cup, he's had a period of adjustment and then a period of change this summer, but he looks a lot more comfortable, and he spoke in pre-season about having more freedom in the team when he's a bit deeper. He seems to like that role, and I think it could work for him.
Yeah, he's done well.
Just playing off Osula, who I think his impact is limited by what appears to be some sort of knock. He's still not right, you can tell. He was fine at the start of the game when he played Elanga through, but since then, I'm not sure. Anyway, Chow, forward ball, it's bouncing, it's Kerkez, and Elanga's there with a bit of help from Wissa. Elanga turns, Dedic on the outside, Elanga's cross, maybe he should have rolled it. It's come down to Wissa, who's had a try, and it's
long way wide.
Not close enough to goal for Alisson to be called into action, and it was between Osula and Barnes. If it was indeed a cross, it's a goal kick for Liverpool, and maybe a situation they could have got more out of there, but they still lead 1-0.
Yeah, it's been a good half, hasn't it? It's been an enjoyable half.
Flicked on by Gakpo. Chow comes across, didn't get much on the header. Isak's got it. Chow gives him what some people call a reducer.
Yeah. He was claiming his innocence. He just pushed them over, didn't he?
no respect for £125 million worth of goal-scoring talent. Serious for a moment though, because Liverpool free kick as we approach half-time. Almost on the left touchline, 35 yards pretty much from the Newcastle goal. Szoboszlai clipped in, Dedic headed back out wide. Szoboszlai lets it go for a throw, takes it quickly. A minimum of a minute added to the end of the first half. Back into the box by Liverpool. Gakpo's got the knockdown. Foul spotted by referee Stuart Atwell. Lewis Miley just checking on Sven Botman, who's holding the small of his back, and now rolls onto his back. Might just elongate the first half, although Botman wants to continue without the need for treatment. That's good to see. Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. They got an extra 465 seats in the stadium over the summer, Ando, to increase the capacity. If you were one of the lucky ones, then you'll have enjoyed the first half, as I'm sure definitely you have, listening to us as well. Almost half-time, Newcastle 1-0 up. Miley with a header, Barnes trying to get in behind Frimpong. Remember, Frimpong right back and Kirkes left back, both yellow carded. Here's Isak looking for Rio Gamoa, finding only the cameraman next to the touchline. Lewis Hall, no hurry to take the throw. It's not been Isak's half or Liverpool's half, but there's still a lot more football to come. But at the break, Matthias Jaisler's Newcastle United have the advantage, and it's been a really enjoyable first half, and it's been a good first half as well, John Anders.
Yeah, it's been excellent. We weren't too sure which way it was going to go, but they've been excellent. They've kept their shape really well. They've filled holes. They've given Liverpool no room to play in. They've got their tactics spot on as well. Looking to get in the back of Kirkes, use the pace of Elanga. The goal was excellent. Asula picks it up, great ball in behind. Elanga uses his pace to get beyond Kirkes, still had a lot to do, but smash and finish as well. Took it right in the corner. Deservedly as well. They deserve to be in front. Liverpool have created very little. Hornacek's he's made one really top-class save from Wirtz, low down to his left-hand side. But apart from that, we haven't seen an awful lot of Liverpool.
And last one, quickly. Where are the dangers? What are the where are the warning signs?
Doesn't seem there hasn't been a great deal of warning signs, Razor. You know, as I say, they've been good defensively. Midfield players have kept their shape. We've spoke about that one chance from Wirtz, but apart from that, they've been pretty comfortable. I know Liverpool have had an awful lot of the ball, but we've still been relatively comfortable.
And hopefully Isak doesn't get a chance, doesn't get a moment.
That's not a kick.
Yeah. Well, long may that continue. Hope you've enjoyed the first half here at St James's Park, live on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Great start to the Matthias Jaisler era. Early goal, breakaway goal. Osula through for Elanga, who finished well, and that's been the only goal in the first half. Newcastle United lead Liverpool at the break 1-0.
Anna Foster, weekday mornings from 10.
We've been chatting skincare products made from donkey milk, bee venom and more. Ryan explains.
So let's say with body cream, for example, we've got tallow and jojoba oil, literally 2 ingredients.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And then if you want a scent, we'll add cold press essential oils, so everything's 100% natural, most skin friendly options possible.
Right, you mentioned scent. So my thing was, would you smell sort of like a cow? I mean, not there's anything wrong with cow smell, but there's no smell of cow.
None. None at all.
Anna Foster, weekday mornings from 10.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And Newcastle United lead Liverpool by a goal to nil at half-time. A roaring start, and Anthony Elanga scored on the break after brilliant work from William Asula after just 5 minutes. That's the only goal of the game so far. It has been interesting. Newcastle United leading Liverpool then. We'll be back with Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson for full commentary of the second half in around about 10 minutes time. This is the third of 3 games in the Premier League today. The first two, they nearly provided 2 remarkable stories. One was a remarkable story because Brighton beat Aston Villa by 4 goals to nil. They were 4-0 up after just over half an hour as well, and then Aston Villa had a man sent off, João Gomes, on his Premier League debut, but in the end they didn't get any worse for them in the second half. So Brighton 4, Aston Villa 0. It started with a Victor Lindelof own goal after just 10 minutes. Maxim de Cuyper after 18 made it 2-0, and then Jack Hinchelwood scored twice in the space of just over a minute to make it 4-0, and that is how it stayed. The other one was Manchester City at home to Bournemouth, and in the 84th minute Manchester City were 1-0 down because Marcus Tavernier had given Bournemouth the lead midway through the first half, but then they scored twice, 2 centre halves salvaging 3 points for Manchester City. Mark Gahey with 6 minutes to go, and then Josko Gvardiol in the first minute of injury time. So Brighton 4, Aston Villa 0, and Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1, the 2 earlier games today, and of course Newcastle leading Liverpool by a goal to nil at half time. One game in the Championship at lunchtime today as well. West Brom beat Burnley by 3 goals to 1. Isaac Price with a couple early-ish in the second half, and West Bromwich Albion of course here in the League Cup on Wednesday night. Yesterday Sunderland started their Premier League season with a 2-1 defeat away to Ipswich. It was their old boy Jack Clarke coming back to haunt them. He scored a 90th minute winner. Sunderland had gone a goal behind early on and then equalised just before half time. A terrific Nielsen Angulo free kick. Here is Sunderland's head coach Régis Lebris speaking to our Sunderland commentator Nick Barton.
Régis, your views overall, do you think there were just a couple of moments of mistakes that's cost you?
Yeah, it's obvious. Overall I think we were in a game with the ball, 65% of possession. I think we are not excellent but decent. Created a few chances. It's important to be clinical because if you score then the game changes, and it wasn't the case. We had to chase after the first goal conceded. After that I think the game was more balanced, and the end was a second mistake, so it's what it is.
All the more frustrating because it was so close to the end when you could hold out for a good point away from home.
Yeah, it's important. If you can't win, at least don't lose the game. And it's part of the process, I would say. Having the ball in this league is not an easy task because you want to create, you want to unbalance the opponent by taking risks, movements, and so on. If you make a mistake, you can be exposed, and their game plan was excellent at that point.
Because you had got in behind Ipswich a few times in the first half down that left-hand side.
Yeah, I think left-hand side, right-hand side as well. We created, I think, enough to score, but often the first games of the season you need to create your references, your confidence, and with the ball it's much harder. So today we got punished in those phases.
Does this put more pressure on you now? First game, you saw how important it was for you last season to win your first game. How important now is it having lost the first game?
Yeah, we lost a first game away last season, and we are still able to bounce back. And I think at home we have this strength and this belief that we can win against any team. So I hope it's going to be the case next week.
And next week is Fulham at home next Sunday. That was Régis Lebris. Sunderland will also find out their 8 Europa League group stage opponents this coming week. Friday lunchtime is the draw, and then they'll find out across the weekend when they are actually going to their 4 European locations. Elsewhere in the Premier League yesterday, Hull beat Manchester United by 2-0. Everton beat Crystal Palace by the same scoreline. Leeds left it late but won 1-0 at Nottingham Forest, and then in the evening game Brentford 3-0 winners over Tottenham Hotspur in Roberto De Zerbi's first game is as the Spurs manager. And on Friday night it all began with Arsenal, the champions, beating Coventry by 3-0. Speaking of 3-0, that was the score for Gateshead. On the receiving end of it though, away at Yeovil Town in the National League yesterday, 2 goals in the last 10 minutes, making it look more comfortable than it was for Yeovil. But Yeovil 3, Gateshead 0. South Shields held on, and that is probably the right phrase, for a 1-0 draw at home to Merthyr Town in National League North. It means they remain unbeaten. Kane Sykes gave them the lead 2 minutes into the second half. Robbie Tinkler, the captain, then sent off for 2 yellow cards in the space of 5 minutes. Marthatown equalised, but South Shields held on for a 1-1 draw. Here is their manager Mike Williamson, who had a chat after the game to our non-league reporter Paul Dixon.
Mike, still undefeated, but it was an incredible game this afternoon.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that one, I think. Two different halves, contrasting halves, and then second half we go on up and we're controlling elements, and we get a man sent off, and then backs to the wall.
Do you think, I thought Tinks took one for the team because they were nearly in, but him getting sent off with 20 minutes to go changed the game enormously. You've got you down to 10 men.
Yeah, it certainly did. I think I really enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed all the prep coming up to it. They're a very good team. They've got good players, and I thought it was a really good advert for the league. And the first half was cagey. I think both teams could have scored. And then, Tinks getting sent off, I think, changed everything. Obviously, 10 men when you against a team that moved the ball so well, we had to be diligent, and we were, apart from one set piece.
I mean, you must have said something at half time, because they come out absolutely flying in the second half, and brilliant goal to put you 1-0 up in 2 minutes, and then it looked as though you were going to go on then and win the game. But as we've said, getting sent off changes the game.
Yeah, it did. The boys responded really well. They came out and they're on the front foot, you could see. And then, I thought second was coming any moment. I really did. I thought that was our strongest period of the game. For it to flip like it did was disappointing, but they deserve a lot of credit. They held on for, half an hour with 10 men in the sun against a very good team. So we've got to be pleased with it.
It's a tough league, Mike, as you well know, home and away. But you've just got to keep plugging away, haven't you?
Yeah, certainly have. We've got Saturday, Monday next week, which is, going to be tough. But it's why we're in it for. The challenge is relentless, but it's the challenge of it, which is fun.
So that's Mike Williamson talking to Paul Dixon. South Shields remain unbeaten in their first 4 games in National League North. They're on 10 points. So too are Hebburn Town after their 2-1 win away at Buxton yesterday. It's a brilliant start to the season. Jake Charles with both of their goals yesterday. Here's a happy Hebburn boss, Daniel Moore, who had a chat with me afterwards.
Yeah, really good. Really proud of players to come away from home against a full-time team, a very good team at that, and we defended really well, and we were a threat going the other way. So I know it might sound simple, but the players have carried out the game plan we've had since the start of the season again very well, and we deserve 3 points, to be honest.
And is it the same? I know you make tweaks here and there, but broadly speaking, is it the same game plan each week? Have you got a way that you want this team to play, and you know that it will worry whoever is on the other side of the pitch?
Yeah, we've got a lot of young players that want to go and attack and run forward. We know we're going to have to be patient at times, because we've just come into the league and we're not naive enough to come here and think we can go and press all the time. But I think we've got some real exciting young players that want to get after people and want to attack teams. So we look at every game on an individual basis. Today we identified one side of the pitch and 2 goals came from that area of the pitch. So it's worked again. But we're not getting carried away. So I think I heard Mike there saying it's fun. It's fun for us. We're enjoying it. We'll just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for in a new division where, to some extent, there is less pressure on you because the expectations from outside are not that high. South Shields at the other end of that scale, but Hebburn not expected by many people outside your own football club to do particularly well this season. Does that sort of help?
Yeah, I've saved about 100, tweets on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it these days, that we won't get a point half the time. People saying we'd be bottom, and it just adds fuel to the fire for us. That I back all them players. We've identified individual players that we think could make us stronger from last year and more of a threat, which we knew we were going to have to be. We work with players. We've got young Jake Charles who's come in there. He's been outstanding for us, and we've put a lot of work into him. And he's been leading the line for us really well. But we build on. We've got our own values and ethos on whatever you want to call it, and it's built on being honest with each other and working hard collectively as a group.
And just lastly then, the first question I asked you was about momentum, and when you are playing so well and getting the results, are you actually not worried that it's Saturday, Monday next weekend, it's 2 games in 3 days, 1 home and 1 away, because you've got that momentum?
Yeah, and we've got a group of lads there that are unbelievably fit. You couldn't really tell who was the full-time outfit in today's game. we matched them in every department. Last 20 minutes, you'd expect them to come on strong, but we ran them the other way with the lads that we brought on. Got a couple of 18-year-olds, 21-year-old running around in forward areas causing them problems. So we're looking forward to it. We've got our own targets, what we've set as a group, and we're on the way to achieving that. And yeah, why shouldn't we be looking forward to every game at the moment?
There is no reason. That's the answer to that question. Daniel Moore, the Hebburn manager there. Also, in the FA Cup preliminary round yesterday, congratulations to Blythe, Spartan and Dunstan, who are through. Heaton Stannington have a replay on Tuesday night at home to Kendal Town, because Leighton Hopper saved them in the 99th minute against Kendal yesterday. But Ashington were beaten 3-2 at home by Thornaby, and Morpeth were on the receiving end of that 2-0 win for Blythe. Spartans. Concert also beaten by Mask United. In cricket, Durham demolished Derby by 338 runs with a day to spare to increase their lead at the top of the County Championship Division 2. But in the aftermath of that, the England and Durham bowler Bryden Carse now under investigation after he was reportedly involved in an incident at a nightclub in Derby last night. That's the ECB have confirmed that now. Video circulating on social media appearing to show him in handcuffs being led away from a club by 4 police officers. He is in England's squad for the second test against Pakistan this week. He was seen out with Matthew Potts. Both of them were involved in Durham's game at Derbyshire. But he is due to meet up with the squad. That's how it's meant to go. Bryden Carse due to meet up with the squad tomorrow. Durham are at home to Gloucestershire next, and that one starts on Thursday. We are getting very close to the start of the second half here at St James's Park. Newcastle United leading Liverpool by a 1-0. Second half coming up in the company of Matthew Raisbeck and John Anderson.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport North East.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Kawisa playing behind Osula, leading the press. Liverpool have worked it quickly, and here's Gravenberg across the penalty area. Dedic slides in. That's turned into a good ball, and away they go. This is what they're good at. Osula, and plays in Elanga, who can run and take it on, and Elanga scores! What a start for Matthias Jaisler. Anthony Elanga, put through by William Osula, has hit the back of the net after only 5 minutes.
Total Sport North East.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Second half about to kick off. No changes. Good to see Osula back out there. Newcastle lead 1-0. 52,630 is the attendance. Black and white stripes against the red of Liverpool, and Newcastle shooting towards the Gallagher end in the second half. A lot of supporters still coming to their seats. Many of them behind us getting an autograph and a photo with Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, who is here. Liverpool with a quick attack at the start of this second period here on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Gravenberg just outside the Newcastle United penalty area, through for Gakpo, and behind off his compatriot Stir. Corner after 30 seconds of the second half for Andoni Iraola's team. We'll recap the starting 11s, all the team news, when we get an appropriate moment. Following the action here, though, because Liverpool with a set piece. Again, Newcastle not putting anybody on either post when it's a corner. Soboslai lifted in, and it's a header to the far stick, pushed off the line by Hornacek just, and they haven't got it fully cleared, but now they've got the chance to run and go towards goal, with Barnes carrying Newcastle up the middle. Osula to the right, they give it to Elanga to the left. Wissa involved as well. Elanga beats his man. Oh, and the pullback was straight to a red shirt. And now the 4 that went that way have got to go back the other way, because Liverpool bring it up and into the Newcastle United half. End to end. Still 1-0 to Matthias Jaisler's team, but a cross, dangerous one. Didn't travel beyond Sven Botman, though, who made a good header and haul away from Gamoa. Inside to Elanga. Good feet from Elanga. Tidy. Miley to Stir. Back to Chow. Probably mentioned all of the players, but it's Hornacek, Dedic, Chow, Botman, Hall, Stir and Miley in the middle. Elanga, Wissa, Barnes and Osula, and it's Wissa here, edge of the area, and he sent Osula away, but wide of goal. Back it comes to Barnes in the penalty area. Barnes cleared. Miley takes a touch and curls one just over the top of the top corner, top left-hand corner of Alisson's goal.
Oh, 10 to end. Oh, we've played 2 minutes of the second half. And it's been end-to-end, each side getting forward whenever possible. Plenty of space opening up.
I mentioned earlier there are a number of former Kevin Keegan players here at St James's Park. We're told Alan Shearer is here, Les Ferdinand is here, Peter Beardsley is back at St James's Park, one of Newcastle United's greatest players. Tino Asprilla, John Beresford, Shaka Hislop. We spoke to Warren Barton earlier, Darren Peacock, Rob Lee, Ruel Fox, Steve Watson, Lee Clark, Liam O'Brien. They're on the list that I've been given. Some big names in Newcastle United history, and we work with Kevin Keegan. Emotional for them, as it has been for everybody, but I'm sure they'll be enjoying the performance 4 minutes into the second half. And a couple of moments at either end. The Liverpool corner, Hornacek did well to get the ball away, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Yeah, he got something on it.
Kerkez inside to Gakpo, back to Kerkez. Elanga is nearby, and Dedic does well, gets in the way. Couple of short passes, edge of the box from Newcastle, and Chow out to Wissa. Oh, what a touch from Wissa! Brilliant. And you've got to say the challenge from Gravenberch to win the ball back appeared to be brilliantly timed, although Newcastle are of the view that that was a foul. Wissa doesn't really complain. His touch on the turn to take the ball down was superb, but Liverpool on the other side of the pitch, on the attack with Gumoa.
He's been excellent, Wissa. He's had an excellent game. Oh,
Van Dijk misplaces a pass and goes out. Liverpool, Alisson in goal, Frimpong, Jacquet, Van Dijk, Kerkez. Midfield of Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. Gumoa on the right, Gakpo on the left, Wirtz playing behind Isak. Stuart Atwell is the referee. Newcastle with the throw, Elanga trying to win it in the air. And Wissa making a challenge, doing well, brilliantly. Wissa, throw for Newcastle. Gravenberch won the last duel. Johan Wissa won that one. It's more like it from Wissa, who was terrific for Brentford for a number of years. The Newcastle bench, goalkeeper Jowen, Cher, Bamba Toure, Murphy, Voltemada, Willock, Ramsey, Shahar. Szoboszlai has the ball for Liverpool. Miley on his shoulder, he scooped it between black and white shirts, and Frimpong moves quickly with it. Onto Gumoa, carries on his run, overhit through ball, goal kick. Liverpool bench, Georgi Mamadashvili the keeper, Wataru Endo, Alexis McAllister, Kostas Tsimikas, Victor Munoz. We barely mentioned him today, the player Newcastle almost had, but Liverpool hijacked the deal. Ronald Araujo, the defender on loan from Barcelona. Trey Neone, James McConnell, a midfielder who's from Morpeth in Northumberland, and Lewis Kumas. Elanga, good header inside to Osula, who headed it back out towards the wing, but it flies out of play. Left fullback Kerkez in his own half to take the throw in the 52nd minute. Not much change in the game, is there, Ando, from the first half?
No, it's a continuance of the first half.
Dedic sticking to the task with Gakpo, but he was too tight to him. He had a hold, and that's why the whistle has gone. Liverpool with McAllister and Munoz warming up. Voltemada, Willock and Murphy for Newcastle United. Jacquet to Wirtz. Brought forwards by Van Dijk. Heavy touch by Wirtz, almost pinched by Sturr, but he's done well to hold on to it, and that's a good ball to Kerkez. Rolled across the edge of the area. Gakpo sidesteps his man, curls it, and Cody Gakpo was so close there to levelling things up.
Hornacek's never moved, has he? He just stands and watches that, just flashes over the top of his crossbar.
I was convinced that was going to land in the back of the net, but Newcastle delighted to see it go away from goal. Miley with a ball lifted forwards, and that's out from the header from Frimpong, quickly taken by Barnes. There's no let up. They're getting it restarted in as little time as possible. Back to Hornacek, all in yellow today. This is Chow. Turns inside, gives it back to the goalkeeper, swept across the box away from Isak. Botman takes it forwards with his first touch. And that's a misplaced pass as he looked for Barnes. Matthias Jaisler wants somebody, and I think it's Joe Willock. He's called him back to the bench. Willock, who may be on his way before the window closes. Interest from Turkey. He's going to come on. Wirtz on halfway, rolled inside to Gakpo. Miley sticking with him, trying to stop him from creating. Liverpool in the area now looking for Isak, who didn't get there. Chow was quicker and sharper and clears. But the ball is with the away side and not with Newcastle United, though the lead is Newcastle's 1-0. Here's Gakpo, edge of the box, and that lead has been erased. Cody Gakpo, who a few minutes ago gave Newcastle a warning sign, has this time driven the ball into the back of the net. Bottom corner, low down. Hornacek couldn't get there. It's a powerfully struck shot from Gakpo, and in the 55th minute it's Newcastle United 1, Liverpool 1.
Just didn't get out to him quick enough, did we? He just got it out of his feet, got turned. Real good strike as well. Keeper's at full stretch, but he's not getting anywhere near that. Good hit.
Newcastle want to make the changes before they kick off. William Osula, who hasn't looked right for quite a while, is hobbling towards the touchline, and Sean Sturr is coming off because there's going to be a double change. Joe Willock and Jacob Ramsey are coming on. Ramsey for Sturr, Willock for Osula. To be replaced by number 28, John Willock. Maybe Whistler's going to go up to centre forward. They've been pegged back then, John Anderson. So what's the... Obviously they've got to try and score again, but how do they go about that? Do they change much?
No, I don't think they can change, to be quite honest, Razor. I think they'd keep doing what they're doing.
The worry is that Cody Gakpo will keep doing what he's doing. There he is on the left edge of the area, plays it to Wirtz. Liverpool have come out and found an equaliser. They've had a number of attacks. Here's the latest one with Gamoa back to Soboslai. Frimpong trying to get into the box. He's rolled it to the edge of the area to Gamoa. A couple of step overs, blocked shot. Oh, the clearance from Barnes sliced. They haven't got it away. It won't land for Isak, and now Barnes this time hooks it up the pitch towards halfway. 1-1. Liverpool supporters on their feet in level 7, believing. Seeing better signs from their team. It's Wirtz back to Gamoa. It's Isak. He's laid it off for Gravenberch, although I think he tried to turn. Newcastle blocked the shot. Gravenberch gets it back now. Wissa. Elanga out to the right. Wissa's gone through the middle. Great feet from Wissa. Needs support. Completely outnumbered. He's found Willock trying to take it on. Joe Willock! Oh, yes! What an introduction from Joe Willock, and what a goal! goal. What a brilliant moment on opening weekend. And it's fantastic for Joe Willock, who has been in and out in recent times and may well be on his way out of the club permanently. But that's a fantastic goal, and it's Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 1, and it's another thrilling counter-attack that has led to the ball ending up in the back of the net.
Whistle was brilliant. I said earlier on, he's been excellent all game, but his feet, such quick feet, and it's a good finish by Willock. Still had work to do, just opened up and he just curled it beyond Allison into the corner. And you'd say that we've been on the rack in this second half.
You're not singing anymore. There was a show of unity before the game, and now rival sets of supporters going at it with each other, just as their teams are doing. Hall has won it back, good challenge. Now into the attacking third, looking for Barnes. Great recovery that from Gamoa. And Hall, their free kick's going to be given. Liverpool taking it, not quite from the right place, mind. And Matthias Geisler is telling his players, if you can, to get back quickly. They've had to put some shift in today. Dedic slides in on Gakpo, edge of the area, to stop him going on towards goal. Ramsey brings it away from the box, and it's Barnes. Liverpool play it forwards. Hall tries to intercept. Newcastle couldn't keep hold of it there, and Gakpo, Dedic with him. Gakpo plays it against Miley. It's come to Kirkes on the 18-yard line. He goes wide on the outside, lifts it in. Ramsey hooks it clear, straight to Gakpo. He's going to have another try, and that one is a long way off target, thankfully, if you're black and white. He's missed the goal by some distance. An hour gone. Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 1.
Long way wide.
Wembley was Wembley, but in the Premier League, Newcastle haven't beaten Liverpool in 19 attempts before today. Steve McLaren was the last manager of Newcastle to preside over a victory against Liverpool. Couple of challenges in midfield on the far side. Matthias Geisler's furious. Newcastle think they should have had a free kick on at least one occasion there. Liverpool had an appeal, and it is the Reds who get the decision from Stuart Atwell and who restart the match. 5 draws, 14 defeats in the Premier League since that 2-0 win in December 2015. Ramsey straight on, wins the ball back again. Now Elanga inside to goal scorer Willock. Thought about rolling in Wissa, instead took his time. Picks out a pass to Barnes, through for Elanga. It's a great ball across the face of goal. Wissa had held his run, and there was nobody coming in wide right, maybe because the right winger, Elanga, was on the left playing the cross in. Double Liverpool change is coming shortly. Alexis McAllister and Victor Munoz. You listen to BBC Radio Newcastle and the BBC Sounds app. What an hour it's been, what a day it's been at St James's Park for all sorts of reasons. Great challenge. Ramsey has been superb since he's come on, as has Willock. Here's Elanga up to Miley, and Elanga in the middle. Miley just couldn't find him. It came off the shins of Van Dijk, and it's now back with Allison across the box to Frimpong. Barnes charges him down, blocks the clearance, and gets a lot of love and appreciation from his supporters for doing that. Here are the Liverpool changes. Rio Gamoa going off. Victor Munoz getting exactly what you thought he'd get. And Florian Wirtz replaced by Alexis McAllister in the other change. Just look at the players Liverpool are bringing on. points worse off last season than they were when they were champions. 11 behind Man United in third, so they've got some ground to make up, but they've got an incredible squad, haven't they?
Yeah.
Botman clears the ball after the Liverpool throw. Jacquet there, it's gone out off Frimpong, Newcastle's ball. It's frightening, isn't it? I mean, when you look down the list of players, and with Ekitike, Bradley, Gomez, young defender Leone, injured. I think they'll only get better and stronger, and they've only made 2 major signings, really. Here's Elanga. It's a bit short, that layoff to Dedic. Elanga gets back. Dedic gets back as well and commits a foul on halfway. Liverpool, the ball was rolling. That's why it's going to be brought back. As much as they complain, the referee was clear that the ball was rolling as Szoboszlai was playing it. So they have to take another free kick. Andoni Iraola not happy about the decision. Isak, sharp turn, Ramsey sliding challenge. Munoz then goes down in the box. Yellow card shown to Ramsey for the challenge on Isak. It's been brought back by referee Stuart Atwell. Take a look at that again, John Anderson. Because it looked...
It's a great turn.
As though Ramsey went in hard, yes, but maybe he got the ball and it fell for Liverpool, who tried to continue their attack.
Not sure about that one. I think there's been some real soft bookings in this game.
There's been a few of them. Both teams affected by it. They are back in front at 2-1 Newcastle United on what's been an absorbing, breathless, exhausting afternoon so far. Still 25 minutes of this and more to go. A win would be so special, but there's a long way to go. Szoboszlai lifts in the free kick. Back post, Van Dijk, caught by Hornacek. They go out to Hall, but he can't control the ball. At what point do you think fatigue becomes a factor? Newcastle obviously have a lot of quick players, they have legs out there, but they have some who haven't had a lot of pre-season football.
Well, it's been tough. They've had to defend, they've had to get numbers. They've been excellent though. They've been brilliant.
Good work from Miley in midfield, but Liverpool have won it back, and Gakpo into the area, and Chow, brilliant challenge, and Botman away as Gakpo cut inside. Malik Chow has prevented a certain equaliser. Dedic here with a clearance. It's gone straight to Frimpong. Oh dear, it's really stretched, and it's nervy, and now it's Munoz blocked by Hall, out to the corner, kept in by the Spanish international. Goes on the outside of Hall and delivers. Isak, it's come off the studs and it's come to Wissa. It's strong running from Wissa. Elanga with him just ahead on the right. Wissa through the middle. Elanga, could he play it? Carries it on. Still Anthony Elanga, and waits for support. Could still find Wissa. Instead it's Ramsey. Square to Barnes. Liverpool not getting everybody back, mind. So there's space for Newcastle. And now it's Willock on the left wing. 2 red shirts there. They slow it down. Hall to Ramsey, and Miley goes forwards through a gap. Brilliant ball for Hall. They're queuing up. Wissa! Oh, just couldn't connect with Hall's ball across near post. Elanga keeps it alive. Still Newcastle attacking. Dedic back wide right to Elanga, now to Miley, closed down by Szoboszlai. Miley found space, finds Elanga, curler from Elanga, and Alisson got behind it, down to his right. He was heading for the bottom corner, but keeper was always coming
in front
across.
of him, didn't it? Just bounced in front of the goalkeeper.
What value would you place on a third goal?
Oh,
That's the definition of
Liverpool
dreamland, isn't it?
Liverpool are so open because they're throwing so many bodies forward. They're leaving gaps.
But their quality, Liverpool, when they do get into the final third, is evident, even if they've only scored once. It's a game that's definitely not over. 69th minute. Munoz. The quieter boozer for Munoz, the rest is for Isak. Deep cross, Chow's header. Oh, it's come to Gakpo, and it's laid off, and it's Isak over the top of the bar.
Well, that was the chance, wasn't it? That was the chance.
It was a shoveled effort. Left foot. And he is being roundly mocked by supporters behind the goal in particular.
Liverpool making more changes.
Kerkez with a header, Miley onto the ball, gets it down on the floor, he's got two on him, he's got to be quick here, he's carried it well, and a lovely pass up the line. Elanga leans into his man Kerkez, gets the ball in the corner for Newcastle United. 2-1 ahead, Willock back to Elanga, the two goal scorers there, still Elanga, and still on the attack with Willock now, winning a throw near the corner flag. On comes Ronald Araujo, on loan from Barcelona, replacing Jeremy Jacquet. Araujo played here twice in the Champions League last season, played in the game at Camp Nou as well.
Big lump of a fella, isn't he?
Lots of experience. He is a big lad, 6'3". I mean, Jacquet's 6'2". They're both big, but Araujo broad as well, alongside Van Dijk. Here's the throw from Dedic to Willock. Oh, lovely feet and a nutmeg. And Willock's cross punched out by Alisson. Ramsey following up on the volley. Left-footed from inside the area, just wide.
Good effort. Wasn't easy. Had to wait for it to drop. Did well to keep it down, left foot, just wide.
Might be another Newcastle change soon. Sending a member of the staff up the touchline to speak to at least one of the substitutes. Here's Elanga and Willock, and foul by Willock. A bit of a pull on McAllister, who gives Willock a shove. Van Dijk offers Willock his hand to help him up. Referees stop the game. Willock is sitting down. Liverpool trying to take a free kick from the other side of the pitch. 2-1 Newcastle United lead. If you have a smart speaker, ask it to play BBC Radio Newcastle. You can listen to our commentary that way, or on the BBC Sounds app, and we'll be with you till 7 tonight, so a bit of time to reflect on the match after the final whistle. Send us a message on X. We are at BBC Newcastle. Araujo. It's a floated diagonal ball, and it was far too high for Kerkez. Dedic. The curtains centre parting, greasy hair, look, picks the ball up, back to Miley. Gakpo has got the last touch. He's played well today, Gakpo. He's a target for Spurs, who have spent a lot of money. Some of that money came to Newcastle. He's a big player for Liverpool, but you can see why they would want him. Wissa does well, link-up play, and now it's swept out wide left to Hall, and they're inside the Liverpool half. Now to Ramsey. Turns on halfway, Gravenberch with him. They find Hall up the line to Barnes. Inside back to Hall, lovely movement. Willock makes the run. Can he get there before Araujo? No. And Frimpong for Gravenberch. Hall makes a challenge. Oh, and it's run for Liverpool. Newcastle unlucky there. And Munoz, he's quick. And Dedic quick into the challenge. Would have been a foul. Referee lets play go on. Kerkez cross. Referee was going to blow for the Dedic challenge that came in on the edge of the area, but it was an advantage, and Kerkez flashed across.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways.
And it's behind.
Can't have it both ways. Referee did well to play the advantage.
And Donny Iraola would appear to want it both ways, because once again he's in the ear of the fourth official. Matthias Geisler, when he was introduced in one of his interviews, talked about his technical area behaviour. He's been relatively restrained. It's been Iraola who's been the most animated and the most involved with the officiating. Soboslai, edge of the area, step overs. It's gone through the legs of Ramsey, and then Hall steps onto the ball and clears. Geisler once more, and there's going to be further changes. We're going to see Bamba and Murphy. It looks like 74th minute, Liverpool with possession in Newcastle United territory. It's a Liverpool team without Salah, Robertson, Kanate, who all left on a free transfer. They sold Curtis Jones this week as well to Inter Milan. Still got so much ability out there. And Victor Munoz has come on and seen a lot of it. Here he is, playing wide on the right. Frimpong to Gravenberg. Munoz close to the touchline. Thought about an early cross into the box. He's overhit the pass. Hornacek runs out of his goal and runs across the ball that trickles behind. Newcastle United still lead 2-1. John Anderson, how solid is that lead, do you feel?
Yeah, yet again, Liverpool have had plenty of the ball, but the final ball and the decision making hasn't been great. I think yet again in this second half defensively we've been excellent. Got a lot of people around the ball.
Touch there by Soboslai. Wissa's onto it. He's had a brilliant game, and Wissa's been tripped by Soboslai. Not far from the area, in between the
He's been brilliant.
Penalty spot and the outer edge of the box. He's up front again. He looks like a completely different player to last season. It's brilliant to see, because it was always there. It would have been wonderful if he'd been able to convert that Lewis Hall cross, but he's had a superb afternoon.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been brilliant.
And Anthony Elanga, who's had his big moments today, none more so than the opening goal after 5 minutes. It's been a really strong afternoon from Elanga. He's leaving the pitch, as is Lewis Miley. Big smile, big hope from the manager for both of them. Jacob Murphy on, and also another debutant, Alaji Bamba.
Yeah, like for like swaps.
We're in the final 15 minutes. Liverpool preparing to make another change of their own. Lewis Hall with a free kick. Dinked in, headed away easily, comfortably by Kirkes. He was the front man. Back they go to Dedic. Foot on the ball, halfway, back to Hall. Could go to the keeper here, it does. Now Bamba gives him an option on the left. Hornacek puts his foot through it, and Botman stayed up there and heads on, and Wissa chests down, but it's a heavy touch. Might have come off his arm actually.
Offside.
There's an offside in there too. Allison had gathered the ball. Referees acknowledge the offside. Play continues. Liverpool trying to move it up the pitch quickly. It's on halfway with Araujo. Luis Kumas will be the next player on in red, the young forward. And it's shifted up to Isak, who lays it off, holds it up, Botman behind him, laid off to Gravenberg. Ramsey gets a foot in, and Frimpong, cross blocked. Frimpong with a header, Munoz blocked shot. On the angle right side of the box, Malik Chow is able to lift it out of play. A 2-1 advantage. Liverpool were level for 2 minutes in the second half. Elanga on 5, Gakpo 55, Willock 57, the time of the goals today. Gravenberg going off, and Kumas coming on. That's the next change. They're leaving Isak out
Substitution
there.
for Liverpool coming off number 38, Ryan Gravenbach, replacing number 67, Lewis Kumas.
This could be a long throw, and it's going to come in from Araujo. It's towards the front of the 6-yard box. Jacob Murphy's there. He's caught McAllister. It was accidental from Murphy. McAllister got across him and was just quicker. And there's Areola trying to referee the game again himself, running straight to the fourth official, pointing at various parts of the pitch. Murphy tried to bring the ball away. McAllister was quicker, and Murphy's caught him as they've collided. Is that natural football contact, or is it anything more?
He's caught him, hasn't he? And in modern football, there's no such thing now as football contact.
It's a phrase you use a lot, because you would, when you played, and even in recent years, you would expect the game to go on.
Yeah.
But it tends not to now. But then if that happens to your team, you'd probably expect the free kick, because that's the way football has changed and rules have changed. It's 2-1 and we're almost in the final 10 minutes, and Dominic Szoboszlai is lining up a free kick from just over 25 yards, slightly to the left. Hearts in mouths at St James's Park. Szoboszlai hits the top of the wall, loops up into the box. Murphy has got it up, but it hasn't gone away. That's a push, is it? No, nothing given. Follow-up effort from Liverpool. It is a push. It is a push. Just couldn't hear the whistle.
Delayed reaction from the referee.
Free kick for Newcastle United. Send us a text message about the game on 81333. SMS 81333. Remember to put BBC at the start. Or you can reach BBC Radio Newcastle on WhatsApp. Start your message there with the letters BBC, and the WhatsApp number 08000 321 333. That's 08000 321 333. Long goal kick, Ramsey onto it, far touchline, Hall, heavy touch, Isak wins it back, then Ramsey dispossesses Isak, Bamba moves it quickly, back to Chow, goalkeeper's on, and it's with Hornacek, and it's away first time. Wissers running from deep. Oh, now hang on, there was an offside there, but was Wisser offside?
He was offside and came back on, and then went again.
Okay. Now Matthias Geisler is the manager that goes to fourth official Tony Harrington, who's from Hartlepool, to disagree with the decision. Some sharp work from the assistant Konstantin Hatzidakis on the near side, but you spotted that as well. 82nd minute. Jacob Murphy was booked, by the way, for that challenge on McAllister. Now Murphy puts Gakpo under pressure and the ball goes out on the Newcastle right. Amar Dedic with a throw. It's too high for Murphy. Header from Kirkes. Bamba nods it on. Wisser's fouled just past the halfway line, or is he offside?
Offside.
Well, it's another one that goes against them. Liverpool restart the match. It's a 2-1 lead. And that's a ball given away by McAllister. Willock makes the run. Oh, the forward pass was not what Newcastle needed in that moment. And Liverpool on their way towards the Lees' end goal with Frimpong and Munoz trying to get the better of Hall. Goal kick. Brilliant work by Lewis Hall. Matthias Geisler, clenched fist, throws his arm up and then applauds. Those are the moments, the duels, the battles, the 1v1s that you have to win. Especially when you have a narrow lead and the game is edging towards a conclusion. Wissa comes deep, flicks on, nobody beyond. Players holding their positions. Araujo back to Alisson, wearing a goalkeeping kit of dark green and black, it seems, with a bit of white as well. And his hair in a ponytail, the long-serving Alisson. Forwards to another ponytailed player, Szoboszlai, and then to another, Kerkez. It's the trending hairstyle at Liverpool, isn't it? Here's Gakpo. Bamba in his way, forces him back out wide. Gakpo's got it again. Bamba following him around the pitch. Van Dijk across to Araujo. A lot of hard work off the ball from Newcastle United. What's their shape like, John Anderson?
It's been excellent all game. Been brilliant.
Kerkez to Gakpo. They're on this near side. Back to Van Dijk, 30 yards out. McAllister to Van Dijk again. First time inside to Araujo, near the centre circle. Szoboszlai. There are 5 red shirts in the middle and a couple of others on the edge of the box. Frimpong goes on the outside and hangs up the cross. Isak's header is caught by Hornacek. It was a looping header.
Couldn't get over it, could he? Just looped it up in the air. Easy take for the keeper.
Goalkeeper very happy with that one, the direction of the ball. And his kick towards the left wing. Oh, great leap by Wissa above Araujo.
He's been absolutely brilliant.
I looked at social media at times over the summer and last season as Liverpool play the ball straight out of play. There were some fans who described Wissa as the worst number 9 Newcastle had ever had.
Not today, he is.
And I don't think last season. I mean, there's mitigating factors. It was tough for him. You know your history better than anybody. There have been plenty of centre forwards who have not made the impact and don't have the ability of Wissa, who now is played in, and Wissa could wrap it up here. Yohan Wissa! Oh, it's a big save by Alisson.
Should have squared it, shouldn't he?
He had Barnes to the left. He just tried to dink it over the goalkeeper's leg. And now Liverpool. This is dangerous. It's Munoz in the area. Blocked by Botman brilliantly. Sliding Sven Botman, stopping the shot from reaching goal. Munoz keeps it in. The substitute Kumas lays it off. And Liverpool back now to Kerkez. Wissa went through in the 86th minute and Alisson made the save. It was more of a dink rather than a finish that he put his foot through. Oh, that might have taken Newcastle there. Here's Gakpo, right-footed cross deep from the left. It's a push-up ball by Munoz, as clear as day. And Stuart Atwell has blown for a free kick. The ball went behind anyway. Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 1.
Yet again, shape's been excellent. Walk great. They've been excellent all over the pitch.
Hornacek with his goal kick. Bazumana Toure remains among the unused substitutes, one of the summer acquisitions. Just making his way back to the bench as Lewis Hall clears the ball up the line. Araujo header inside. Wissa quicker to it than McAllister, but Liverpool get a bit of help there from Szoboszlai and win it back near to halfway. Kerkez up to Gakpo, one back by Murphy. Oh, but Murphy's touch has gone backwards. And here's Kumas. Murphy's sticking with him, dinked into the box, but Chow is there and he watches that one behind. Just lent in onto Kerkez just to make sure. And another goal kick, and now we are at 87 minutes 25 seconds. What's your prediction for the number on the board at the end?
4.
go higher. Kumas has done well there, beaten Bamba to the ball, dropped his shoulder and come away with it. Alaji Bamba manages to hold him up, and then Frimpong involved, but Newcastle win it back through Lewis Hall, inside to Ramsey in the left corner, Ramsey to Botman in the box, and then it's swung clear. It's on halfway, Van Dijk chests it down to Araujo. Geisler with lots of signals and instructions with his hands and his arms for his players. Great win back there by Joe Willock, and Harvey Barnes quick onto Ramsey. And here they go again, Newcastle United. Willock up the left wing, drops his shoulder to come inside.
Hit it.
Finds Barnes.
Oh.
He loves a dramatic late goal. He decides to play it to Murphy on the outside. Murphy across, and it just needed a touch. It just needed a touch. It was begging to be tapped in. It's a throw for Liverpool. And there's just over a minute of normal time to play. 2-1 still to Newcastle United, but they could have wrapped it up by now. Into midfield. Bamba leaves that for Botman. Botman in on McAllister, then Bamba, great sliding challenge, and played back there by Murphy, who appeared to be caught.
Yeah, he let it play on. He had the ball.
Isak getting involved there with Chow as it goes back to Hornacek. Van Dijk's header. Newcastle a bit out of shape here, but Dedic has won it. Wissa fouled. Referee says play on. Willock just outside the box. Joe Willock. It's come now to Barnes, first time effort, blocked. Wissa down on his chest. Van Dijk sticks it away and out, and it's a throw next to the corner flag. Dedic is down. Botman appears to have a bit of a problem. Dedic has got cramp. Game is going to have to be paused.
McAllister's been booed.
Must be for that challenge on Murphy. Referee's gone back to that situation. BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds will bring you every match live this season. If it's like this, then it could be exciting. It's always exciting, but it could be a roller coaster. Dedic is okay, 5 minutes added. They've kept a few players back, but they've got 3 in the box, 2 on the edge. Murphy taking the throw straight onto the head of Van Dijk. Just the one place where you didn't want it to go. And Gakpo onto Kumas, and he runs towards the penalty area. Isak to the right, Kumas, Dedic with him. That's going to be a Liverpool corner. Amar Dedic, great desire, suffering with cramp to get back.
Yeah, he's had a good debut, hasn't he?
Divert the shot behind. A minute of the minimum 5 played. It would really sting if they were to let it slip. Szoboszlai on the Liverpool left, swings it in. Hornacek pushes it clear. Murphy gets out towards Frimpong. Frimpong inside, blocked. Now they might have the chance to break. Jacob Murphy takes it out wide left, overruns it. Liverpool have a throw. Murphy's brought a second ball onto the pitch to stop them taking the throw quickly. Matthias Geisler inheriting some of the dark arts from Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall and co. 92nd minute, Gakpo laid off to Szoboszlai. Newcastle trying to close off the space. Gakpo, he's chipped it in. Botman's headed it up.
Great header.
And it comes to Araujo, back to Kerkez. Szoboszlai, he's got room here. And Gakpo is the ball. Dedic is there. Dedic has seen him off. It's a foul. It's a Newcastle United free kick. I think it went behind anyway. You could go through the 11 and pick out so many who've had brilliant afternoons, but Amar Dedic, who hasn't even been a Newcastle player for a week, is among them. Johan Wissa has been superb. Willock and Ramsey
definitely added something into the middle after their introduction. Willock added a goal. And Elanga with his goal in the first half. Just over 2 minutes to play of the 5. Ball has gone upfield and Liverpool have it now just behind halfway. Kevin Keegan's name being sung. Newcastle try to get across the line at St James's Park. Liverpool possession. Every black and white shirt behind the ball. Kirkes, bit of space. Jedic comes out to engage. Then they go wide to Gakpo, who comes into the box. And his chipped cross, headed up by Bamba. Araujo brings it down. Bamba sprinted across after it. It's on the other side of the pitch now. It's at the feet of Frimpong. Twisting and turning, taking on Barnes. Has still got it. Barnes dispossesses him. Barnes has been fouled. The perfect sort of free kick to win at this point in the match. A minute to go, 2-1 Newcastle lead.
Great desire again, wasn't it? Just kept watching the ball.
Substitution for Newcastle.
Standing ovation for Johan Wissa. A superb performance. All that was missing was a goal. I'm sure those goals will come. Matthias Jaisler gives him a slap on the face. And then a big thump on the back, as does a member of the coaching staff. Fabian Schär comes on to replace him. Great to have Schär fit and available again after injury. Schär's experience in this young squad will be so important. Hornacek's long ball forwards. Might play on for another minute here, you know, with a substitution and various other delays. Willock chasing the ball. Liverpool playing it back to the keeper. 5 minutes are up. Kirkes goes long. Chow with a header. Oh, Munoz brings it down. Munoz under a challenge. Referee.
Penalty.
Oh no, he's given the penalty. Liverpool, beyond the 5 minutes that were displayed on the board, have been awarded a penalty at St James's Park, and it's the player that Newcastle lost out on to Liverpool in the summer who has won the foul. VAR will look, but it appears as though it's the correct decision. And who was it that made the challenge?
Hall.
Describe it. What did he do?
Just dangled the leg and wrapped his arm around him. I would be surprised if this is overturned. They'll look at it, but I would be surprised if this gets overturned.
The 5 minutes had been played. It's got shades of Barcelona in the Champions League last season when they scored an equaliser with the last kick of the game at that end of the ground. Newcastle surround the referee. It's BBC Radio Newcastle. 2-1 is the score. Matthias Jaisler and his staff are enraged. Munoz is still down. Has he had treatment? Liverpool have got a member of their medical team, I think, asking permission to go on. He's on his feet. Now, who takes the penalty? Gakpo has got the ball. Or does he give it to the other fella? Newcastle did that at Nottingham Forest famously. Kieran Trippier took the stick, handed it to Isak for a last-minute penalty. Gakpo has given it to Soboslai. We're now in the 98th minute. There is always late drama when it's Liverpool. It is a penalty. Newcastle lead 2-1. Lucas Hornacek can make himself a hero on his debut. Dominic Soboslai with the Liverpool penalty. added on time. Right-footed, short run-up. Here we go. Soboslai against Hornacek, arms outstretched. And we're waiting. Soboslai, oh what a penalty, into the top corner. There is no saving that. And Newcastle United denied victory by a last gasp Liverpool penalty. It's 2-2.
Oh, you're not saving that. Half a dozen goalkeepers aren't saving that. That was high, drilled into the top corner.
Well, he showed great nerve and brilliant ability. Newcastle complaints continue. I don't know if it's about the fact that they were beyond the 5 minutes, or you've seen the challenge, you're satisfied the referee's got it right. I haven't seen it back. It's 2-2. He'll probably just blow up here, won't he, Stuart Atwell, as Newcastle wait to kick off. And it's such a shame because they were almost there. But this is just what happens when they play against Liverpool. That's it. Well, last season it was 100 minutes and it was a goal that defeated them. This time it was 98 minutes and it was an equaliser. But it's been a breathless afternoon, an emotional one too at St James's Park, as Kevin Keegan was remembered so spectacularly and fittingly before kick-off. And a superb performance. And if that's what is in store for us under Matthias Jaissler, then there is a lot to believe in and get behind and enjoy. And it should have been a victory for the new man in charge, who now goes to the officials, shakes the hand of the assistant and has a long word with the referee. Liverpool got out of jail with that late penalty, and Newcastle, well, what is it about this game and late goals they concede? They wait for a Liverpool match that ends in victory, and the league goes on. 20 now, 20 Premier League fixtures since they last defeated Liverpool. But given the upheaval of the summer, the state of the squad, everything associated with that, it is a very, very creditable result after an excellent performance. And they were so close, John.
Look, they were excellent. We didn't know what to expect. We weren't sure what was going to happen. But to a man, they were exceptional. It's tough on them. It really is tough on them at the death to give away that penalty. The way they played for such a young side, I think they got everything spot on. Tactically, they were excellent. Looked to use the pace that they had in those forward areas. Wissa was magnificent. He was absolutely fabulous. Dedic, great debut at right back. I don't think there's anybody in a black and white shirt you can say didn't put a shift in, they didn't play well today. To a man, they were exceptional.
It's a really encouraging day, isn't it? The disappointment of the late equaliser aside, so much encouragement.
Yeah.
Given that belief and positivity was probably in short supply among the fan base after the summer and the end of last season.
As I say, weren't too sure what we were going to get. The games that we watched in pre-season didn't fill you with a great deal of confidence, but today, when it mattered, they all stepped up to the plate and they delivered.
Isak had one shot that he scooped over the top. And not much else, really.
No, never got a kick. Never got a kick.
He's on his way off, getting booed. The boos are for Isak, not for Munoz. There was some for the referee, but it wasn't his day, thankfully, because
didn't really get involved in the game, didn't have much to do, had that one chance, left foot skied it over the top. That was about it, to be fair.
John Anderson's going to stick around. Colin White will be here in a moment as well on BBC Radio Newcastle. You can can get in touch on WhatsApp 08000 321 333. We would love to hear from you. Just start your message with the letters BBC, or on X it's at BBC Newcastle, so send us a message there. Post-match reaction will go on BBC Sounds. Search for Newcastle United. There will be lots of interviews, analysis, content relating to the Magpies there all season. Just hit subscribe while you're there and you'll get notifications when there is something new about Newcastle United on BBC Sounds. We will bring you every match live this season for Newcastle and for Sunderland on BBC Radio Newcastle and Total Sport every weekday evening 6 till 8 with the latest from both clubs and a chance to phone in and have your say. And you can listen to the show and catch up on any programmes you miss on BBC Sounds. Search for Total Sport North East. A standing ovation from the supporters who've stayed after the final whistle for a Newcastle United team that showed so much heart and plenty of quality and put in a brilliant performance under their new manager, a team in transition. Work still to be done in the transfer market, but that was encouraging on a day of high emotion at St James's Park. But there is always late drama when they play Liverpool, and they were seconds away from a famous victory, but denied by that late penalty. It's finished. Newcastle United 2, Liverpool 2.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
We're talking mundane skills this morning. Mickey and Eshwinning, what's yours?
I was very known in school to be able to knock out songs and theme tunes by using a good old trouser cuff.
What? You used to be able to do theme tunes by trumping?
Yeah.
What was the best theme tune you ever managed to knock out?
I think the Pink Panther. This doesn't win the radio awards. I don't know what will, mate.
Matt Bailey at breakfast. Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Well, that was every bit as dramatic and entertaining, as emotional an afternoon as we knew it was going to be. It all started long before kick-off and it finished in the 97th minute by the time everything was finally done and dusted. That last-minute Dominic Szoboszlai penalty giving Liverpool a 2-2 draw at St James's Park in Matthias Jaisla's first game in charge here. Get in touch with us and have your say on the 90 plus minutes. 0800 234 6565 is the number to call, as always. 0800 234 6565. Ando is sticking around for the next 25 minutes or so. You can send us messages to 81333 to send your text messages, 81333, or you can WhatsApp messages as well on 08000 321 333. Start them all with the letters BBC. Put your name at the start or at the end of them as well, and I will put plenty of them to John Anderson in the next few minutes. This was the third of 3 Premier League games today, in case you missed the other 2 earlier on. Brighton beat Aston Villa 4-0. They were 4-0 up at half time, and Aston Villa had a man sent off at that point as well, but nothing happened in the second half of note. And Manchester City came from behind to beat Bournemouth 2-1. They were saved by their centre halves, Mark Gahey and Josko Gvardiol, in the final 10 minutes or so, as they beat Bournemouth by 2-1. Well, it delivered. It was a day, didn't it? And as a football match.
Yeah, very much so. Very enjoyable. We spoke beforehand, not really sure what to expect. As I said, the razor at the end there, pre-season didn't go well, performances weren't great. And I suppose there was a little bit of worry coming into the start of the season.
Yeah.
But to a man, they were excellent. Dedic on his debut was excellent, outstanding, but Wissa was phenomenal. He was brilliant. Could have scored right at the death. Probably the only thing he got wrong all game. He could have rolled it square. He had Harvey Barnes on his left, but he went for it himself, and you can't blame him for that. But he was brilliant. For when you think of the season that he had last season, was rushed back. Didn't really happen for him. A lot of questions were asked of him. But I think he answered an awful lot of critics today. He was, as I say, he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. To be honest, we could spend the next 20 minutes talking just about Johan Wissa. Yeah. That's how good he was. But Eddie Howe talked so much last season, even kind of March, April time, was defending Johan Wissa and saying he hadn't had a proper pre-season and he'd struggled and he'd never really recovered from that. He has had a proper pre-season, slightly shorter because he played at the World Cup, but he's had a proper pre-season and he was everywhere. And there was one point he won a header after about 85 minutes on the far side against Araujo.
He was 6'8".
And you just thought that summed his performance up. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was. Thought the two young boys in midfield for the time they were on did well. Thought when Willock and Ramsey came on fresh legs in there, it gave us a little bit more impetus. But look, more pluses than negatives, that's for sure. Because as I said, and I said to you earlier in the week that come 6:30, 20-7, whatever it is, we'll know an awful lot more. And I think people will go away from here tonight absolutely delighted with that performance. Look, the penalty right at the death is really tough on us, there's no doubt about it. And it was a penalty. You can, doesn't matter what way you look at it, from whatever angle you look at it, it's a nailed on penalty. But and Slobosly,
it might be one of the best penalties I've ever seen live, and I know there's absolutely no consolation to anybody, but
from
my
a
goodness.
pressure point of view, last kick of the game basically, and he stuck it. It was a little bit harsh on us, but I think if you had have offered an awful lot of support as a 2-2 draw before a ball kicked, they'd have absolutely taken that, and they'd have been delighted with it.
Well, funnily enough, the text message I was about to read you just before we talked to Jamie, who's given us a call, is from Gaz, and you've basically word for word said what you just said, because Gaz says, if you'd offered me a draw against Liverpool before the game, I'd have taken it with both hands, but after the way we played for 95 minutes, anything less than a win now feels like a defeat. And it will for a short period of time.
I don't think it should.
No.
Because, as I say, we weren't too sure what to expect. I think the manager's got to take a lot of credit as well. I think he got his tactics spot on. Using the pace of your wide players caused Liverpool all sorts of problems. Liverpool left gaps that we exploited well. But absolutely plenty to build on that performance.
And we've seen Matthias Jeißler's Newcastle United, haven't we?
Yeah.
And he promised it, in fairness to him.
That well disciplined, kept their shape really well, defended well, filled holes, didn't leave gaps, didn't give Liverpool space to play in. As I say, just so much to build on.
Yeah, 0800 234 6565, the number. You've got 20 odd minutes to come on and have a chat with Ando. Let's welcome Jamie into the programme. Evening, Jamie.
Hi, are you alright?
Hey Jamie, yeah, good, thanks.
Are your feelings quite similar to Gaz, who said, I would have taken a draw except for that blooming late penalty?
I would probably thought so, yeah, but you know what it is? The new week in, we were very going forward, we were very, very good.
Yeah, I think he got his tactics spot on. I think the two wide men with the pace that they had caused Liverpool all sorts of problems, especially Alanga down our right hand side.
That was unreal.
Yeah, he caused Kerkez all sorts of problems. They just kept dropping balls in behind him, and he just kept getting in behind. And the goal, his goal was a great finish. He still had a lot to do. Asul has done well, picks it up, plays a lovely little ball in behind. He gets clear, but that wasn't an easy chance, and he took it away really, really well. He played well today, Alanga. That's what he's about.
Wissa was unreal as well. Great.
Oh, Wissa was brilliant. But Alanga used his pace. There was just so many good performances today.
We're just very unlucky, weren't we? That was the very, very.
Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, I wish I could stand here and say, it was never a penalty, but unfortunately
it was a penalty. Yeah, you're right.
but it was some finish as well. No goalkeeper saving that, but it was unfortunate. It really was unfortunate. But the performance overall, I think everybody's got to be delighted with.
We had 3-4 easy.
Yeah. We had chances. When we broke on them and broke with pace, we caused Liverpool all sorts of problems. They committed an awful lot of bodies forward, and they left gaps that we exploited really, really well.
Yeah, of course we did. Yeah, Willock's finish was so good as well.
Yeah, it was. Again, another quick break. great goal. You know, he's just caught it beyond Allison. He's just tucked it in the corner, and you were hoping down that we could hang on, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. But there was just so much to take out of the performance. No, unfortunately not. But there was an awful lot to take out of the performance. Plenty to build on as well, Jamie.
Absolutely, Jamie. Thank you very much indeed.
We're in for a good season.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Set up
Fingers
nicely,
crossed.
isn't it now, Jamie? Thank you very much indeed for talking to us. 0800 234 6565 is the number to call, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to give us a call, and I'll read a couple of the messages in the meantime as well, because this one is from John, who says, well, he says lots of things, does John, so I might have to go through these a couple of bits at a time. Evening, lads. I'm feeling very proud despite the result. Magnificent today, and he has essentially gone through the team. Keeper proved me wrong. Dedic was brilliant. Chow and Botman were great. Feel for Lewis Hall. He was really good. He looked devastated at the end. Miley and Sean Sturr were outstanding. Wissa man of the match by far. Should have had a goal. And nice to have subs with a positive impact in Bamba and Willock. And War Flags did Kevin Keegan proud as well. I am going to pick a couple out of there,
right,
John. Fullback on fullback. You've said Amar Dedic was fantastic. Why was he fantastic?
He just did everything well.
Yeah.
You know, he used the ball well. He didn't complicate it. It was nice and simple. Defended well. You know, didn't jump into stuff. Made forwards think about what they were going to do. I think he's got to be absolutely delighted with his debut. I don't think it could have gone any better for him, to be quite honest.
And didn't look like he'd only met his teammates about 5 days ago.
No, which sometimes is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, because you then don't have time to think about it. You didn't have too much time to think about it. You get thrown in at the deep end, and he looked like he relished it. He was exceptional.
And I think there were probably a few people a little bit worried about the centre of that midfield when they saw that it was Lewis Miley and Sean Sturr, who are 35 combined, something like that.
Yeah, they were
not quite, but close.
Yeah, they were excellent. You know, Miley's. You can see Miley's grown into himself. He looks like a man now. You know, he used to look like a boy. He doesn't look like a boy now. Sturr, good passer of the ball, wants to get on the ball all the time, always available for the ball, and for the time that they were on the pitch they played, look at everybody to a man. I said earlier to Colin, there was nobody that you could fault today. Everybody played their part. Everybody did what was asked of them by the manager. You know, and I think he'll be really, really proud of that performance as well.
Let's bring in Dave then, who's the next caller on the line. Welcome, Dave. Evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. Are you okay?
Hey, Dave. Yeah, good.
How are you after that?
Colin, I was on Fans Forum, I don't know, last month, and I was a little bit more positive. I mean, like I say, I don't know why, it's not really my thing. I thought today that was way better than anything we expected. I thought we played really, really well. Now, yet again, Liverpool come here, and yet again, it's a last-minute thing. Look, they got the last-minute winner last year, and the year before, we were on the attack, and the referee blew the whistle and all that. But at the end of the day, I think Liverpool deserved a point today. I thought they were the dominant team, really, in a lot of it. But look, in terms of our performance, I mean, where do you start? It was miles away better. I thought the goalkeeper I thought Honey looked really confident. I thought apart from the penalty, obviously Lewis Hall miles away than what he's done in pre-season. He was excellent. Dedic had a good debut, very positive. Stoyer in the middle was great, but for me, Miley, outstanding. Anthony Elanga, that was his best performance in Newcastle shirt. I thought Visser was outstanding. Yes, he should have scored, but when he played in that number 10 position, he was all over the place, he was creative. I've never been Willis Sula's biggest fan, but I thought he was a menace. I thought Barnes was really positive. I mean, John, it's a draw. It's better than last year. But look, I think there was a lot of people worried about what was going to happen today. But it shows that, look, we can scrap, we can fight for it as well. I thought that was just way beyond anything we're going to expect.
Yeah. Look, I have to admit, Dave, when we got here, I wasn't too sure what to expect because the pre-season games didn't fill you with a great deal of confidence.
and I said, come half 6, we'll know an awful lot more about this side. I think there was an awful lot of positives. There's so much to work on. You know, you're right on your analysis of all them players. I think to a man, they were exceptional. You know, they worked their socks off. Penalty at the end, little bit, but it is what it is. There always seems to be something like that happens when you play Liverpool, last minute goals and one thing and another. But yeah, it was. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I'd love to. I said earlier, I'd love to stand here and say, oh, there's no way in the world it was a penalty, but it was nailed on panel. Yeah. But look, I would have taken a 2-2 draw beforehand, if I'm perfectly honest. But I'm just delighted with the performance. You know, delighted for everybody, because an awful lot of people you spoke to were, well, a bit like myself, weren't too sure what was going to happen. They were worried. They thought we could get well turned over today, but the performance was absolutely excellent. It was a great game. Yeah. It was a really enjoyable. I mean, you expect Liverpool to have all the ball. You know, it's the way they play. They pass it. But I thought we were exceptional in the way that we kept our shape and gave Liverpool no areas really to play in. I mean, when you look back at it, and even though they had all the ball, Hornacek's only had really the one save to make, and that was from Wissa in the first half, which was a good save going down to his left hand side. But apart from that, he had a few crosses to come and get, but he was never forced into making too many world class saves. You know, so
his distribution was okay as well.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot for those in front of him. You know, I was concerned about Botman because his pre-season he was being really poor in pre-season, but he was excellent today. Him and Chow together in the middle of that back four were excellent.
And I've got a question for both of you, but it's the same question. What happens now on Wednesday night? Because it's West Brom and it's the League Cup, and what you'd like is for a bit of momentum from today and all the positives we've just talked about to not be put to one side, and you put your second string out against West Brom, but you get the feeling that's probably what will happen. What would you like? What would you like to see on Wednesday night, Dave? First,
I mean, I think we're in a position where we don't have a choice. I think he's got to mix it up. I think Ramsey will play in the middle. Miley's hardly had any game time. I think we've got to mix it up. We'll see what Asula's knocks like. I think Visser and Asula will be fine, they'll play, but people like Miley, Dedic, how fit is he, you know, Botman, how's his knees? He'll have to mix it up. It's a reality. It's a reality of the modern game. We can't have a small squad and do that.
Yeah. I think there's players there that need game time. You know, Cher came on late on. He needs game time, so it wouldn't surprise me if he figured on Wednesday night. Bamba, you think, will probably play. Toure will probably play. You know, these are players that need time. Will young Shahar come in at right back? Possibly, but you know, look, I'm with you, Dave. I think he'll mix and match on Wednesday night.
He's got
Dave. We are going
to. Carl, just before I go, mate, sorry.
Go for it.
Big shout out to Blythe yesterday, knocking the egg chasers more without the FA Cup. Great, all the best, lads.
Thank you very much, Dave. We remain strictly neutral in that kind of Northumberland FA Cup derby, but thank you very much, Dave. Yes, congratulations to Blythe Spartans and to Dunstan, who made it through, and Heaton Stannington have got a replay on Tuesday night in the preliminary round of the FA Cup as well. John, when we were talking about the changes that might be made on Wednesday, you and I are standing looking at the team sheet, and we're looking down the subs bench, and is that are you almost thinking 9 of those 9 substitutes probably all come in, possibly, maybe with the exception of Shahar, and then 2 remain from the side that started today? Is it possibly as simple as that? Because there's nobody who didn't make the matchday squad today is going to be fit on Wednesday night.
No,
so it's arguably the same. Close enough to being the same 20 players.
It wouldn't surprise me. As I say, Shah, you would think will play. Bamba, Toure, Jacob Murphy, Voltemade. Yeah, especially if Asula's knock, you know, he doesn't recover. He may have no option, but you know, so he needs to see these players in competitive match situations. You've seen them in pre-season, but pre-season games weren't great, so he needs to see them in really competitive games.
Yeah, a lot of the players that we've just talked about are doing a warm down on the pitch. Players from both sides actually doing a warm down on the pitch. Obviously, all the fans have left. The number of international media and the number of television camera setups away to our left-hand side is genuinely extraordinary. I know that's what happens first day of the season. It's what happens when it's Liverpool. It's what happens when it's a 4:30 on a Sunday game as well. Matthias Jaisler currently doing television interviews live down there, and down in front of us, slightly to the right as well, John Bishop, very famous Liverpudlian comedian, is down there having a chat with some of the bosses at Knox, who are the shirt sponsors of Newcastle United, and the North East Mayor Kim McGuinness was down there with John Bishop a couple of minutes ago as well. We've got just under 10 minutes left in the programme, which means we have certainly got time to have a chat with John, who's given us a call. Evening, John.
Good evening, Colin. Good evening, Andor. How are you both doing?
Hey, John. Yeah,
now,
good, thanks.
If you don't mind, John, not copying any of the points that you made in the text message that I read out about 5 minutes ago, that would be fantastic. If you can come up with some original thoughts, that would be great. You enjoyed that, didn't you, from a distance?
No, that's okay. Andor, obviously, I called in on Friday night and we were talking about the concerns that we had about the team, would the formation work and things like that. I am so pleased to be proved wrong, because I thought each and every one of them lads that went on that pitch today was outstanding. And credit to the manager as well, Andor, because if there was one thing that Eddie Howe was criticised for, is that his substitutions weren't very effective. Willock's come on today and made a difference, and I thought Bamba, when he came on, was really good as well. I don't know if you would agree with that.
Yeah, look, I think the substitutions and the substitutes that came on had an impact on the game, and that's what you want to see. I agree with you. I think to a man, everybody played their part. Everybody did the job they were asked to do, and a little bit more, to be quite honest. Because we weren't too sure what way it was going to go and what to expect. I think everybody was a little bit nervy going into this one, but there was so many positives to take out of that game. It was excellent. It was a great game. It was a really enjoyable game to watch. And I just think from minute 1 to the 95th, 96th minute, whatever it was, to a man, they were outstanding. I thought Dedic on his debut was immense, really, but Wissa was unbelievable. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant today.
Honestly, Andor, when you see his performances that he was doing last year, and then you see what he's just done today alone, it's honestly like chalk and cheese. Yeah. I mean, Alan Shearer was in the stands today. That would have been a performance he would have been proud of, obviously minus not getting his name on the score sheet. That was probably the only criticism I had of Wissa today, is how was he not scored today? Yeah.
I mean, for the second goal, he did absolutely brilliant in the middle of the park.
Unbelievable.
Quick feet, got away from 3 Liverpool defenders. But yeah, look, there's always been a player there. We've seen it at Brentford. Now, there was circumstances surrounding him last season where he got thrown in at the deep end because needs must. So, he wasn't really ever 100% fit last year. He's gone to the World Cup. He's got part of pre-season under his belt. But if he continues performing all season the way he did today, I think everybody will be more than happy because that performance today was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I think the only downside for me, Andor, is I didn't think Harvey Barnes had a good game today. In fact, I thought he looked lost, which I know was something we touched about on Friday. So I would definitely be looking to bring in Toure in, whether it be West Brom or start next week against Spurs. But yeah, that was the only person who I didn't think had a good game today.
Yeah, he had his moments. He flashed in and out of the game, didn't he? But I thought today he did more from a defensive point of view than I've seen him do for a while. He got back and he got back and he supported Hall and gave him some protection in front as well. But look, I think Toure will probably play against West Brom. We've just been talking about it there, and there's players there that he needs to have a look at in competitive games. So I'm sure there'll be quite a few changes for West Brom on Wednesday evening.
Dave, going to leave it there. Rapidly approaching 7 o'clock. Dave, thank you very much indeed, as always. John, even I kept going. I get out of the way. We had Dave on before we had John. Thank you to both of you. And a couple more messages. One that's called you an idiot, John. I'm not going to read that one out.
What?
But one that's called you an idiot. Well, you can see my screen, so I can't really hide it from you now. I'll go on. Right then. Doesn't have a name on it. I'll let. It says absolute rubbish from John regarding Harvey Barnes. Look at his defensive work.
What did I just say?
Yeah, you did.
What did I just say?
I think the text message might have been sent before you'd finished your answer to on Harvey Barnes.
Idiot.
It's a bit different, thank you. Yeah. Two wrongs don't make a right. And Morris in Rothbury, great performance today against a poor Liverpool side, says Morris. Wissa looked like a man possessed. Decent start to build on, great atmosphere. Keep the faith, says Morris. We knew it was going to be a cracking atmosphere, but pre-match and during the game, and even though I'm not a massive fan sometimes of the fist bumps just because you've won a throw-in down by your own corner flag, it did contribute to an incredible atmosphere all day.
The atmosphere, I mean, it was an emotional day as well. The scenes beforehand were incredible. Kevin would have been absolutely delighted, and he would have been very, very proud of it. And I'm sure the family at this sad occasion enjoyed that as well, to see what Kevin Keegan not just meant to Newcastle United and the supporters, but to Liverpool as well.
I think that's a very fitting note to end it on. It was a swashbuckling performance on the pitch as well. Thank you very much to John Anderson as always, and we'll be back on Total Sport tomorrow evening. Thank you for your calls, for your texts as well. The same numbers will apply when Total Sport is back. Give us a call, 0800 234 6565 tomorrow. There were 3 Premier League games today. There were a couple of victories earlier on, but the one that we were focusing on here at St James's Park ended in a very, very entertaining draw. Newcastle United starting life under Matthias Jaisler with a 2-2 draw against Liverpool. They had the lead a couple of times. It was a 99th minute penalty in the end by the time it was taken. That meant the points were shared. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you at 6 o'clock tomorrow.
And away they go. This is what they're good at. Osula and plays in Elanga, who can run and take it on. And Elanga scores! What a start for Matthias Jaisler. Here's Gakpo, edge of the box, and that lead has been erased. Cody Gakpo, who a few minutes ago gave Newcastle a warning sign, has this time driven the ball into the back of the net. Bottom corner, low down. Wissa's gone through the middle. Great feet from Wissa. Needs support. Completely outnumbered. He's found Willock trying to take it on. Joe Willock! Oh, what an introduction from Joe Willock! And what a goal from Newcastle United! And Liverpool were level for only a couple of minutes. And St James's Park rises again to celebrate another Newcastle United goal. Liverpool, beyond the 5 minutes that were displayed on the board, have been awarded a penalty. And we're waiting. Szoboszlai, oh what a penalty, into the top corner. There is no saving that. And Newcastle United denied victory by a last gasp Liverpool penalty. It's 2-2.
Total Sport North East.
On the station with Newcastle and Sunderland commentary exclusively live.
BBC Radio Newcastle. It's easy to listen on your smart speaker. Just say
Play BBC Radio Newcastle.
Or anytime on BBC Sound.
The sound of the North East is BBC Radio Newcastle.
BBC News at 7 o'clock. This is Nikki Cardwell. The family of one of the constables who died when a vehicle going in the wrong direction collided with his police car on the A66 near Middlesbrough say he was their hero. PC Tom Clough was killed along with a colleague, PC Matthew Blades. The 5 people in the other car have been identified and were all young men aged between 17 and 23. Peter Harris reports from Cleveland.
The Independent Office for Police Conduct said its preliminary investigation found that officers had received intelligence about a number of incidents involving the car the group were in. The vehicle was believed to have had cloned number plates. The IOPC said in-car footage showed that a police pursuit involving an armed response vehicle lasted just under 7 minutes, but was aborted when the Passat headed the wrong way down the A66. The watchdog said the fatal collision with another police vehicle not involved in the pursuit happened just 10 seconds later.
The long-distance rail operator Cross Country says it's hoping to run a full service tomorrow after widespread disruption and cancellations on almost all of its routes today. The problems were caused by a power failure in the control centre. President Zelensky has rebuffed calls for elections in Ukraine, saying they would risk splitting the country apart while it fights the Russian invasion. There's been pressure for a vote from Ukraine's former Defence Minister Mikhailo Fedorov. Paul Knott, who's worked in Ukraine as a British diplomat, says most Ukrainians believe in democracy but think an election is impossible right now.
How on earth do you conduct an election with Russia firing bombs at anywhere people gather in large numbers? How would you find a way for the millions of people who've had to flee the country as refugees to vote? Really importantly, soldiers on the front line, how would they vote? People in Russian-occupied territories.
A 34-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after a woman died following a fire at a property in Hounslow in West London in the early hours of Wednesday. The 48-year-old victim has not been identified. Streets in Washington, D.C. have been converted into a motor racing track for a Grand Prix marking the 250th anniversary of American independence. IndyCar drivers will zoom through the National Mall, past the Capitol building and down Pennsylvania Avenue near the White House. President Trump will wave the starting flag. The BBC's Helena Humphreys is among the crowd gathered to watch the race.
So many of us who are used to covering politics here in Washington, D.C., used to being in traffic, but instead these drivers, they're going to be nudging 200 miles per hour going through the city. It's really going to be what many people here are saying a once-in-a-lifetime event.
Tonight's weather mainly dry and chilly. Tomorrow, most areas will be dry with plenty of sunshine. Eastern Scotland and eastern England will have the odd shower. BBC News, it's 7:03.